Welcome to the training by Maxime from St. John's Packaging. He's going to teach us about 175 and 275 Hudson Sharp bag machines, how they work and how they run properly, and he's also going to do training for the operators. Right now we use this training to train operators in Vietnam, China, USA, and Canada. We have it translated in several languages. Obviously I'm speaking English right now, or Texan. But in any case, later this afternoon, we will meet with all the operators and the leads, and we'll also have the Chinese operators sit in and do training for them here today. So welcome, Maxime, the bag machine whisperer.
All right, so the first chapter that we have is going to be about the machine cycle. It's probably the most important thing to understand about the machine. How one bag is made. So every one bag that is made on the bag machine is made out of 360 degrees of your main shaft. Out of that 360 degrees to build that one bag, you have all these parameters here happening into it. So all of these can be changed in the machine: draw, start, delay, seal clearance 1, seal clearance 2, your dwell. But all of these, once you change them, it will impact your draw time. So you go up on your draw, start, delay, you're cutting down time from your draw time. So the draw will always start at 355 degrees. If you build in a 10 degree on your draw, start, delay, you will delay the next bag being pushed out, and it will cut down that 10 degrees from your draw. Does that make sense?
Can you repeat slowly, a little bit later on?
Yes. So you have your one cycle of the machine based on 360 degrees. That's one turn of main shaft. The one with the caps on it, that's what it does, one turn. So you will start, let's say you have 5 degrees for the draw start. So you go from your draw start, then you'll have the draw of your bag. After the draw, you go to seal clearance 1. Then you'll have your dwell. You'll have seal clearance. So let's say everything is divided like this on your cycle. Everything you have left in that part here is going to be the draw time for your bag. So if your draw start is 5 degrees, and for any reason you have a thinner gauge bag, a longer bag, or whatsoever, and you need to increase your draw start up to 20 degrees, what's going to happen is you're going to be cutting down 15 degrees to your draw time.
Is it directly all this direction?
No, it's not a. So if you would go in this direction, you will have here the draw time, and here the seal clearance 2, and you will go in that direction like this. So whatever you're going to change here will have a big impact on this here. Here, let's say your dwell is on 20, and for you get a thicker bag and you go up to 40, you're going to double up your dwell. And cut down even more time to your draw time. So instead of having, let's say, 300 milliseconds to do one bag, you maybe have 150 now because you took too much time. So then let's say on your bag, seals are good, everything is good, it's a bit thin on the gauge, and you think you can go down on your dwell 20 here, and you make adjustment, better finger adjustment, pickoff is adjusted good, and you can afford to go down here to 10. So you get 5 more degrees here, and then your dwell, you go back down to 20. you gave it more time for the draw rollers to complete the cycle by making these adjustments. So this part here is slave to any parameter you can have here. This depends on everything else. So whether you have your cams on 60, it becomes extremely hard to run higher speed, because getting your cams on 60, your draw time will look like this. Almost no time to draw the bag. That's why when higher you go on gauge, you need to slow your machine down more and more.
Maxime, can you explain what happens if you never adjust the cams? Let's say you set the cam on 20, whether you're running 1 mil, 1.15 mil, 1.25 mil,
Can't get
1.45
back.
mil, 1.5 mil.
Can't get back to that one later. I've got the sealing section after that.
Sealing section will come later. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll take care of it.
This
So-
is you punch in the machine?
Yeah, these you punch in the machine on the touchscreen machine. You go to service page. So going to your service page, you will have seal clearance 1, seal clearance 2, draw start, delay, and you'll have the draw time. And you'll see normally, let's say that one here normally is 40, seal clearance 2 is 35, and draw start, that will range between maybe 5 and 20, depending what you're running. If you're running like a long bag and you need more time to clear the draw roll, you can go higher, but let's say that one here between 5 and 20. All these put together with your draw length, you know, on your machine, you tell the machine you're going to be drawing, let's say, a 10-inch bag. The machine will count everything, and here it's going to tell you, let's say you have 165 millisecond to draw one bag. So you'll see if I take that one here and I go up to 50, 165 will probably go down to 150. So then the drawers are going to be rushing to get your bag out a bit more.
Right now you're talking in degrees though, right, above?
Yeah, that's all degrees here. Oh, and you'll have the dwell on the side here. Your dwell, 20, 40, 60, whatever you put on your dwell with all these, draw length will give you the draw time.
Specifically right now you're talking about 175 with the cam, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Với lại của mình có cái gì trong cái như là trong như là cái setting đó
Có
khi mà cộng hết là
360, 355, 360. Cái thời gian quy lên, thời gian cam, nói chung mình thay đổi mấy số đó hết. Ví dụ như mấy cái số đó mà mình cộng, ví dụ mà mình cài đặt nhiều quá thì nó sẽ không hiểu được, nó sẽ không chạy được.
thì đầu tiên của anh
So this area we cannot set.
Yes, that you cannot set. That will depend. Yes.
This one, and this.
Yes.
So the remaining will be this.
Yes. The result will always give you.
So this area for the punch, double punch.
Yeah, hole punch, normally, unless you ask for a hole punch to have 200 milliseconds,
Yeah.
it will happen here. So by all this time here, the film is not moving.
Yes.
So if you have square bottom happens here, hole punch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this for hole punch, this for seal there. This for clearance 2 forward.
Yes, clearance 2, 35 degrees.
Normally they keep the running.
Yes, normally I would start 40, 35, and maybe 10. And then depending on what you're running, you can maybe adjust a little bit. I normally just adjust that one. So we don't really adjust.
This area for what's the function?
That here it just says that at 355 degrees on your the timing, the drawers will start no matter what you do.
This area prepare for the draw.
Yes, here draw start delay, and here start. So if you go up on this number here, you move this line here, which means if that one is still 35, this one goes here, then this one goes here, then this goes here. So then shorter time, you need to go higher on speed. Yes.
Over here, for example, 175 on raw start delay, you would be like 280 degrees on drop.
No,
I'm trying to get this added up right.
on here you mean? On draw start?
On your drawing over there, you have 40, is that a 40 degree, 35 degree, 5 or 20 degree?
5 to 20, that's a range.
Okay, so you would subtract those numbers from 360 to give you the draw?
Yeah, you get, trying to go too fast, Dave.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Sorry.
first, it's just basic to understand that you cannot go more than 360 degrees. One circle is 360. There is no such thing as a 385 degrees. Nothing will be created in that cycle. It will eat up time from your draw time. So cams are going to be your biggest impact. You know, if you're running a 1.15 mil film and for any reason your cams are on 40, you might want to try to put them on 20 because it still works. Then you give 20 degrees more to your draw rollers to complete the cycle. So if you take a bag is more flimsy than this. Imagine a 10-inch 1 mil bag, and you're not pulling on the film to keep it steady. You're going to be pushing it. So let's say on a setup regular, you have let's say 150 milliseconds to push that film 10 inches. Try to push that film 10 inches in 140 milliseconds by keeping it straight and even. You know, give it a bit more time. Better delivery, better transfer, better stacking on the pins, better quality, more stable machine. So all that needs to be adjusted, right? So here's how the servo works for the draw rollers. So your draw time, let's say always your draw time is 150 milliseconds on the same job or whatsoever. Then you have a setup coming in, and instead of a 9-inch bag, you have a 12-inch bag. You don't change your parameters, nothing. Your draw rollers are going to be working harder to achieve it because they always have accel, decel. They don't get a top speed, maintain the speed, and then decel. It's like if you try to imagine that in that room here, you're with your bike and you try to get up to 20 miles an hour and hit the brakes before you hit the wall. And then that goes well, then you have to go up to 45 miles an hour and hit the brake. You might get in the wall, you know, it's too much. So same thing for your draw roller drive. If you go on your draw start delay and you give it 25, then you go to seal clearance 1, you give it a 48, seal clearance 2, you give it 30, 40 let's say, and then on your dwell you keep your cams on 40 or 60 degrees and you have a 12-inch bag and you want to run at 250, your drive is going to fail because it cannot achieve that task. So you might have a fault when you try to start your machine that will say that the machine cannot achieve that speed with the specs you put in it. That clear for everybody, that part? Yeah.
I want to know what happens if we degree the clearance.
The seal clearance?
Yeah.
It depends, honestly, on your job. I've seen like your machines, you run them lower and it runs great. Sometimes you could get like a double seal on it a little bit. You could get weaker seals. It really depends. Here on your draw start, when the draw stops, your film is still moving a little bit on your sealing roller. So if your cams are going the seal head goes on the seal roller too quick and your film is still moving, you might get a bad seal out of it, you see. Your fingers, remember we talked about the finger adjustment. We want to have about a 16 to an 1/8 of an inch, like very tight tolerance between your fingers. If your fingers are spread apart too much, the film goes out with not enough control. So if your seal clearance 1 is too low, the seal head will hit while the film is not down on the sealing roller, ready to get sealed. So if you have everything perfect, delivery good, you might try to go down on that one a little bit, but you don't want to be too quick because the film is still going to be moving. Then you seal. After that, you have your seal clearance. Your pickup is going to be somewhere around 345 degrees. Seal clearance 2 might be the same thing. If you go too high on that one, you're just going to reduce the time for the draw time. If you go too quick on that one, you might pick up the bag in the wrong, the wrong moment. You can try them. I mean, you can get on the machine that's running good and try to change it a little bit, take some videos, see how it works. You can tweak it. But good numbers to start with, 40, 35, then 5 or 20 for the draw start.
Anh phải có bây giờ enjoy I study always in the degree.
Yes.
So it means kind of move.
Yes, that one here.
Always
Yes, that's always stable. We have that one here, so here's some calculation to figure out the available time that you can draw the film. The machine will still tell you on that draw time window that you have, but if you put together your sealed well, sealed clearance 1, sealed clearance 2, the draw start, it gives you how many degrees will the film be stationary. So the film is steady, it's not moving for, in that situation here, for 200 milliseconds. So you take 360 degrees minus 200 degrees, so you have 160 degrees available to pull the film. So then, if you change the situation a little bit, here you go down on your sealed well, you have the same sealed clearance 1, you go up on sealed clearance 2, draw start delay goes to 0. You have 155 degrees where the film is steady. So 360 minus 155, you go up to 205 degrees available to draw the film. So that would give you way more time to complete the same task. So we can't always do this. If you have a 1.25 mil bag and your cams need to be on 40, you cannot put them on 20 just because it will give your drawers more time, because then you'll have bad seal. So it's in order to balance good seal, good delivery, good everything, that you can do that. So one of the most important parameters that we have is the dwell. So the dwell is the amount of time that the seal bar is going to be on the dead point on the sealing roller. So during your dwell, the seal head is making contact and sealing the film. So on our cams, we normally adjust at 20, 40, 60, maybe 80. But that's on the 175Ws, that's a physical setting. On the cams itself, you are going to adjust them so it will stay longer or less time on the sealing roller. On the newer machine, you can adjust the milliseconds. You have a window sealed well. You can go from 1 millisecond all the way up to whatever you want. So you can fine tune your seal, because now it's independent from the rest of the machine. It's not driven by your main shaft. So newer machine, you can really do great things with your seal adjustment. So on 175s, your dwell is also going to be a ratio of the dwell that you set and the speed of the machine. So if you set your dwell here to 20 degrees, and this here is running at 280 RPM, you're going to be spending a lot less time on that portion here at 280 RPM than if you will be running at 200. So if I'm running 200, I'm running way slower, so I'm spending more time here at 20 degrees, so I get longer seal time, you see? So let's say you're running a 1.25 mil film, and for any reason, let's say you have 150 bags per wicket, and the packers cannot keep up, with that kind of small wickets on your machine, and you have to get your speed down to 180 bags a minute. Then you might not need to have your dwell on 60 or 40. You might even try it on 20, because you're running so slow that you're spending way more time on your dwell that it could work with lower dwell. Give more time for the draw, better stability, better delivery, and better quality. You know?
So all these other things are starting points. Then we adjust as we need to based on the backside,
Yes.
thickness of gauge.
Yeah.
So this is recommended and then you make adjustments.
It depends on a lot of things. I mean, like we're talking this week, we feel sometimes like
Too many people talking.
sometimes see that some film takes less time to seal. Like the film from China normally needs less dwell than the film from America to seal. So that can be a factor, you know, when you're in that. But on so the point though, on the older machine, it's a ratio. Speed equals what your cams are on. Whether on the newer machine, the 275s, your seals are going to be on the servo motors. So whatever you set it, if you set it at 12 milliseconds, whatever the speed you're running, seal is going to be 12 milliseconds, always stable, which is a good thing.
So you don't have a cam, and you don't have 360, so you're thinking, in how many milliseconds per revolution? How do you take 360 degrees to milliseconds?
Depending on the
Speed, just calculate it.
Get a shot.
Get a chart for that. Sorry.
For my 75 machine, that China outside their time, the cam normally we don't give just keep the 20 degree position.
Depending
When the film thicker, we tried the 40 or 60 degree, but in fact we find it not so helpful for sealing it. So for so many years we don't give the chance.
Okay. You see when we get to the sealing section, might have some details that can help with that. But here you have the chart for that. So let's say the machine is running at 1 bag per minute. It's going to take 166 milliseconds per degree of rotation. So that times 360 will give your time for one cycle. Yep. You have that. If you want to know how much 12 millisecond means of dwell, on let's say 220 times a minute. So let's say you're running at 260 bags per minute. Every degree is 0.641 milliseconds. So if your cams are on 20, it's 0.641 times 20. It's 12.8 milliseconds for that one. So it can help the operator understand when he's running the newer machine what his well needs to be. If he's used to run that job at 260 with his cams on 20, he can adjust his dwell to 12 milliseconds and it should run fine.
Is there no cam?
Yeah. So back to cycle. Also on the machine, the computer doesn't know what your cams are set on. So if you put your cams on 40, you have to tell the computer that your cams are on 40. If you don't, you're going to run into some issues because you're still going to be sealing while the machine thinks you're not sealing, and then pickup is going to be wrong and everything's going to be bad. Another very important thing, when you adjust your cams, both cams always needs to be the same thing. One cam on 20, one cam on 60, it's going to destroy the machine extremely quick. It's going to run the whole assembly crook like this, and 2 or 3 days, everything is jacked up. So you don't want to do that. So that's complete for the cycle. Everything's clear about the cycle of the machine? We good? Alright. Now for your traction rollers, they're extremely important if you want to run at decent speeds. There are some speeds that are extremely easy to achieve. You could have messed up draw rollers, messed up capstan, you could still run that 180 bag a minute. That's not an issue. When you want to start going above the 250s, 275s, and even reaching 300 bags a minute, traction is extremely important to have under control. So eye nut holding could happen if, let's say your draw rollers are dirty. On the film, when they extrude it, they put additives in it to make it a bit more slippery, and that additive gets on all your rollers, especially your draw rollers. They're going to become white, slippery, and you lose your traction with that. So if you're trying to run your machine at 280 bags a minute, you saw the curve for the draw roller is extremely aggressive, depending on what you set your settings on. So if your roller is dirty, you might run into some slippage. If it slips on the bag, your servo motor is calling for 10 inches, but you slip a 1/4 inch, then you don't see the eye mark. If you don't see the eye mark, it's going to ask for even more on the next bag. It's going to ask for maybe 11 inches to try to get the eye mark. So you're asking even more, it's going to slip more. Then you're going to miss the eye mark again. And you do that 7, 10 bags in a row, depending on what your setting is. The machine will stop, give you an eye nut holding fault. So it's very important to understand that you have a window that is plus minus about 1/16 of an inch. So 1/16 of an inch is that's not much.
So the additive is called slip. It blooms from the extrusion film. So sometimes on China film or Canada film, we see it bloom a lot. So we get build up really fast. So sometimes we might have to clean it 2 times in a shift. But at least right now we should be cleaning every shift. At the end of the first roll, the operator at the end of the first roll stops the machine, cleans the draw rollers, cleans the in-feed capstan bump roller, and the anti-balance roller. Right?
Yes. As maintenance people, if you're calling the machine and they have issues with film tracking, missing the pins, eye nut holding, things like this, and you look at the draw rollers and it's all slippery, white, dirty, full of tape, or whatever, don't even try to adjust the machine. You tell the operator to do his PM, he needs to clean them. Because if you go up on your pressure because you did not clean them, then you will damage the draw rollers and still not fix the issue, because the issue is going to come back again. So you tell the operator to clean it up, make a real good cleaning on it. From what I've seen, 80% of the time, that will fix the issue. If it does, good for it. If it don't, then start making your adjustment. But never do adjustment on dirty rollers. Not worth it. You're just wasting your time and damaging the equipment. So, like Dave said, every shift operator needs to clean machine, draw rollers, capstan, and anti-bounce unit. Your traction needs to be very good.
It doesn't take long to do this.
Yeah.
If you do it on a regular basis, it's very fast. If you wait weeks before you clean it, it takes a long time. And then plus, if you wait to clean it for weeks, now you have improper wear on your draw roller, and you have to change your draw roller anyway, because you already worn out your draw roller. Daily, several times a day on draw rollers, in-feed dip, and anti-bounce rubber roller.
Yeah, and it's not only your
And your underrollers.
it's not only your draw roll that's very important, because let's see here, you have your draw roll section on the machine. So you have your film, you have the bump roll, then it goes down to a denser. So here, draw rollers are pulling from the bump roller, which is pulling from the denser here. And that denser is mounted on a potentiometer. So you go up on this one, you send signal to this one to go faster, feed, I need film. Then you go too low on that one, you send signal to that one, slow down, I have too much film. So that one always needs to be steady, right? And then from that one here, you're going to the unwind, then you have the denser on the unwind, it goes down, and here you have your chucks, right? So here you have another denser on that one with another pot. So that one, same thing, goes down, says slow down, I've got too much film, goes up, says feed me some film. So when you start the machine, this one starts, pulls this one, that cranks this one up. And you're gonna see that one here and that one will not start until that one reach about the center. When you get to the center, this one will start, pull film from the denser here, and when this one goes up, this one will start. So if this one here slips, or is wore out, or has tape in it, or you ran zippers on the next before run and it's open and it's not making good contact here, it means that this one here, that is a servo motor that calls for a bag very precise, plus minus a 16, will have to pull film all the way here, all the way to the unwind. So what's going to happen is you're going to stretch the film, you're going to get eye nut holding, or you're going to get overload faults on your drive because that's too much film for this one to pull, right? So now on the 275Ws, Hudson Sharp made a very good thing. They put another here, anti-bounce unit. So now you have this, and this. So when you do your PM for operators, clean this, clean this, clean this. You get good traction. It's like having a race car, 4-wheel drive with brand new tires on the dry road. You can't beat that.
These anti-bounce machines, what's the fastest you typically have to run? What's the fastest you run? What's typical run speed?
That's like a tricky question because I mean, it
Okay,
really depends what you're
8 3/4 inch
running.
bag by.
If you're running perfect bag, like 8-9 inch bag, 14-15 inch, you can go up to 350, but normally it would be about 330. 330 is a good cruise speed on that
So
one.
right now, St. Luke, not St. Luke, but in Port Tom, you're running around 330.
It depends on the run. If you have square bottom, it goes down to about 280. If you have a perfect bag, 320, 330. Sometimes 310, it depends.
So we paid a lot more money for these machines with the anti-bounce,
Yeah.
so we have to run faster.
Yeah, and this one here to adjust this one because you don't have a denser in between, right? So you cannot accumulate film. So to keep tension steady, this one and this one you have on the screen. It's called your in feed, right? So your in feed, if you set it to 1.00, that's a speed ratio. So one turn here, one turn here, right? So what's gonna happen if you do this? One turn, floppy film, right? Eye nut holding, or the drive is gonna be extremely precise to send you one turn here and one turn here. Your rubber may be damaged on that one here, like 0.01 millimeter. So when you do one turn, that one here is going to be a bit slower, or maybe that one, and then you can have issues with your film. If you go down to 0.97, it means that each time this one here does one turn, this one here does 0.97 of a turn. So you start the machine, film gets sagged, very loose, right? So then if you go up to 1.03, this one does 1, this one here does 1.03. Then you get tight on the film. So you don't want too much tight on it because you will lose the eye, you're gonna stretch it. So you wanna have just the right amount of tightness to it for operators to be able to adjust this perfect, which you do, because if you have a Thomas bag, it's about that big, and then you go on a big bag, that big, thicker or whatsoever, not the same tension that you need. So you start your machine and you go down to 0.97, you start seeing a bit of sag onto it, right? You go up 0.98, 0.99, maybe when you hit 1, you just start to see the film getting steady. In the bed of the machine here, you can see the film jump up and down. You go up 0.01, every time just until your film gets stable. When the film gets stable, that is your best tension. Minimum tension. Because here, if you put 1.03 or you put 1.15 and you look at the machine, you won't see any difference. Because the film here is tight, so how do you know if it's a little bit tight or very tight? But the machine will know it's going to lose the eye. So you always go down until you see it flop. Then you go up a little bit at a time until it gets steady. Then you know you have perfect tension. And this will keep your eye perfect every time. This keeps square bottom, perfect cut every time. This is very good.
I remember why 75 machine is you have the positive.
Yep.
Normally, what's the right pressure between?
So when you have your support roll, the purpose of that roll is
Because outside normally they are adjusting with high pressure.
Yeah, and then
in the
yeah.
liberal.
yeah, that's very not good when they do that. And by the way, yours drawers here, good, very well adjusted. The pressure roll. So you have your that's your bottom roller. Here you have that's the top one, and here is bottom pressure roller, right? So when you put everything brand new, by the way, when you change, if this one is damaged, you change this one and this one. You don't just change one of them, you want to have a match kit. So the purpose of this one here is not to put pressure. People call this a pressure roller, but it's a support roller. It's only there to support. Since your bearings are here and here on the ends, and you put pressure between your bearings, this one here will tend to go down like this, right? In order not to have that one go down, you put this. So when you put new rollers, you release air pressure. No air pressure on this one. You get this one here, the bolts on it. You know your plate. You have the two bolts. Just loose, just a little bit, snug. And here you put paper strips. You get your screws up until you feel paper being just a bit tight. But then when you remove paper, you can turn the roll. Roll is free. So you have about 0.01 millimeter gap on it, very, very small gap. So then what's going to happen when you put the film, you get film go here, and then you put 60 psi here and 60 psi here. This goes down on the film. It will try to make this one go, but this will hold it. Keep it steady. So no pressure, just support.
Just touch.
Yes, just touching.
So if we put a heavy adhesive here, we can move it.
Yes, you put with the air pressure. No, with the air pressure, it's going to be tight. If you take off air pressure, this one here goes up.
Yeah.
You can move the paper.
Okay. So without
You just feel the paper a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So when you pull the paper, you see the roll turn. Right. Another thing that's very important is when you do this, your bolts here, you don't want them loose like that much. You want them snug because that's your roller. Here, that's the support roller. So when you get the bolts very loose, it will look like this, right? If your bolts are very loose. So here you make adjustment. You have just a little bit of drag. Then you're going to get your bolts tight. It's going to get here too much pressure because it will you know.
So for the actually, if the paper is with the hand move, it's only when the ruler or the new jam,
Yes.
the new ruler.
Yeah.
But if the ruler worn with the
Just a little bit. When you increase the pressure, if you put pressure and you push it the pressure, you just maybe give yourself 1 or 2 more weeks, because after that you will damage here and break it. So at the end, if there's nothing you can do. You try to go up on your pressure, clean, nothing works. You go up on pressure, but make sure you have a spare, because 2 weeks you'll have to change.
What's the gap was? You said 0.0 something millimeter.
It's a piece of paper, so 3,000.
It's 3,000.
So everybody get the importance of good traction, why it needs to be clean. If you slip, you lose the eye, machine stuff, you're not making any bags. Pretty simple. Missing the pins. Since it's a weighted machine, you have on your punches, you do a hole about that big, and your pin is about that big. So the hole happens on your punches about that far from your draw rollers, and that hole needs to line up with the pin after being pulled, sealed, transferred to the pin. It's almost impossible. I mean, it's a very hard task to get this to line up perfectly to the pin every time on millions of bags. So if your draw rollers are dirty or wore out or pressure is not good, the film is going to be walking in it, or it's going to be slipping, you know, so you're going to have a lot of variation to it. All that variation is going to end up here. You're going to be hitting the pin like this, hitting the pin like this. You don't want that. So as stable as you can get here will also help you have good pin, good delivery, nice stack of bags. If the bags fall on the floor, the packer is going to be hard for her to keep up, because she has to clean this. Then when she put the wicket, she has to remove the bags that miss the pins. Takes her longer, and she gets upset. Be friendly with your packers. You know, we need this to fall good on the pin. You'll have wrinkles. The grooves on a draw roll is very thin. You know, when it's brand new, it's small grooves. If the fingers get bent, they're going to damage that groove, make it a white groove. Then the surface that makes normally contact with the bag, instead of being that white, it becomes that white because of the grooves. You lose traction, you lose surface. And you increase the grooves, means you make wrinkles into it. So we don't want to have that in the bags as well. So as good as you can get that, better the bag will be. All right, jam-ups. Jam-ups is a big issue that will most likely happen with fingers being damaged. So for an operator, if you have a jam-up, the first thing you need to check is your glue gear, the spur gear. If the spur gear breaks, sending roll stops turning. Sending roll stops turning means it's not pulling the bag out, and you're always going to seal at the same place, so you will melt it, burn it, and then we need to replace it, right? So a bad glue gear will give you jam up. So if you don't check that and you just restart the machine, you will run another 30 seconds, 1 minute, then another jam up happens. Your fingers, if the fingers are too wide apart, it can cause jam up as well. And normally when you get a jam up, it wraps around and it bends the fingers. So you have a jam up because your fingers are damaged. You don't fix the fingers. So the jam up makes the fingers worse. There you get another jam up. So I'm sure sometimes operators call maintenance and they say that they have been fighting jam ups all day long. So that's one thing to look for. So here's a brand new roll. We had that in Greensboro on a brand new machine, and that's how it looked like just about 4 weeks later, because they had a jam up. So the fingers started rubbing on the edges here. So all that rubber does is extremely abrasive. So it damaged the rollers. It gets an uneven surface like this. So when you run, this here is smaller than this, so it don't turn at the same speed as this. So you're pulling the bag all crooked, makes wrinkles, bad delivery, and jam ups over and over again. Just because maybe they have one jam up and bend the finger, they did not fix it, and then after that, while you're running, you're just creating that dust, gets in your rollers, damages everything, and breaks everything. And obviously, they did not clean it every shift. That was the top draw roller on the same machine. So we allow people to put tape in it. You know, sometimes you might have a job that, you know, requires a piece of tape on the gusset or on the lid or, you know, at a certain place into it. But when the job is done, you have to remove the tape. If you don't remove it, that's what happens. It kind of melts the tape into the rubber and then you can't take it off. So you just scrap the whole draw roller. And expensive rollers and a lot of time for maintenance to change it.
What's the cost of the roller?
To get it recovered, about $500 each.
$500 each,
Yes.
top and bottom?
Yeah.
So total 500 or 1,000?
About $1,000 for both.
$1,000 for both.
Here, you can see on that one, there's a lot of goo on the fingers, a lot of that sticky plastic material here. So when you're running, if the fingers are sticky like that, the film will get stuck to it, then you get a wrap up, which is not good. So when the operators clean draw rollers every shift, fingers needs to be cleaned too.
What's the dropper? Sure it's in there.
It's in that,
Okay.
That we all talked about that. One very important thing, no knives on the rubber rollers. When you get one cut in the roller, it gets bumpy on the sides of it, starts to destroy itself very quickly. So you can have a brand new roller, you make one cut into it, 2 weeks from now, change. And then what's bad is sometimes you come in the next day and that new roller is cut again, you know. So no knives on rollers. Finger adjustment right here. So you guys can convert after that these to a metric if you like better. But the good thing I like to do when we adjust the fingers, the bottom finger needs to be a 32nd of an inch higher than the ceiling roller. So it's barely nothing. Just, you can even put it even with the ceiling roller, it will be the same thing. So 1/32 is very low. Obviously it needs to be centered in the groove so it's not rubbing on the rubber. And then the top finger between 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch higher than the lower. So in order to do that quickly, because if you ask people what a 16 or an 8 of an inch is, if you ask operators, they could tell you, well, it's about this, you know. So take Allen keys. You all have 1/16 and 1/8 Allen keys. 1/16 is free, 1/8 stuck. Then get to the other finger, free, stuck. If both of them are free, you have too much gap, so you bend it down to get the right gap on it. Because what's going to happen here is you have your seal head, right? So when the draw roller starts to push the film, let's say you have 1 mil film, you try to push a 10-inch bag in 130 milliseconds. It's pretty rough. So the seal head gets about here, and you start already to push the film. So if your fingers are bent like this or that high because it's bent, you don't control your film. So your film can start and go up like this, hit the seal head, then you get a jam up. or hit the seal head and then you get a bad seal or whatever can happen. So when you get a tight fit here, the bag will go out just fine. So having perfect fingers means that your draw start delay, you can go down a little bit. Or when you have the Thomas bags, 6 inches, 1.25 mil film, that's a perfect bag. So you only push it 6 inches and it's tough film. So draw start delay, you can maybe go down to 2 degrees on it because the seal head could be here. If you have good fingers, you can push your bag out. Then if you start having too many jam ups, people could just go up on the draw start delay 20 degrees. So you weigh, the seal head is going to be here. Then you start pushing the bag. So it works, but you didn't fix the machine. Because you put 20 degrees, you give less time to the draw roll to complete its job. So you're going to struggle somewhere else, It's just a patch that you put. So perfect fingers allows you to get perfect draw start delay. Will give you better delivery as well, better control on the bag. Bag goes up better. Make sense? So the draw roller pressure. When you put brand new draw rollers, I say here 60 psi. So from maintenance, when you put new rollers, 60. That's good. If for any reason you go to 80 psi because you think that more pressure will make it the better grip, they might not work because if you put too much pressure here, this one here will bow like this. So you have a lot of pressure here, and here you have a gap. So I can get on a brand new draw roller, I can put 90 psi on both sides, and I could slide a piece of paper in the center. Just because you squeeze the sides too much, you make it bow down. So it's not always better to go higher on pressure. Make sense?
As they wear, we might go up a little bit.
Yeah, as they wear, you can go up a little bit. When you need to go higher than 75, call maintenance. Maintenance can maybe adjust the support roller a bit higher. They can start something. But if we need to go above 75, we need to start planning on replacing it at some point. Yeah.
Did we talk about like the
Next model.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You see these here? A good thing to do on them is you're pushing air on it here. Take the other side out, and here see if you have air leak. If you have air leak, it means that you have leaks inside on your seals, and maybe 60 psi you put here because of the leak. It's maybe 40 psi. So if the other one is good, and you have 60 and 40, you make cones, taper rollers. You don't want that. So the film is going to always track sideways. So it's an important thing to inspect when we do PMs on the machine.
Maintenance. We'll do that.
Yeah.
How often do you check those? Usually?
It can last 10 years, like it can last 2 years.
I don't know, but how often you spot check it?
Normally every 4 months, or if we change a draw roller, we check it.
Every time you change the draw roller, you
Yeah.
check it. And usually if you don't,
Then you can check on your PM.
under VM.
Well, normally if no one complains about an issue, normally they will call you on the machine. You have issues with the draw rollers, and then you do your paper test, and you're only tight on one side, and you figure out something's missing on the other side, and you feel air leak on the cylinder. So traction is good.
One question for Captain. For Captain, roller, we have on a cylinder here.
Yeah. The hydraulic?
Yes,
I see.
Hydraulic, yeah, okay. The bad machine sometimes the cutting too high.
Yeah.
Machine alarm cannot work. With your button, we can set up the how much pressure here and or how much oven route.
So on these, normally you make sure that you have oil in it. Then you close the choke completely and you open 3 turns. And when you open 3 turns, then you start the machine and you see if you have to adjust. If you have to adjust, you can close 2 turns or open 2 more turns, depending on what you see when you start the machine. But that is your starting point. So you close completely, you open 3 turns, then you try it. But it cannot be closed more than 2 more turns than this, because it will be too tight, stretch the film. Another thing you can check when your denser is not in right position, you have the on the side here you have your pot. So maybe the pot is not adjusted correctly and making it run higher. Or another thing, if this jumps up and down a lot, or the one on the unwind jumps up and down.
I know.
This.
Max, recap what you said. You close it.
You close it completely and you open.
First of all, make sure you got hydraulic fluid.
Yeah.
Close it completely. Open it, which is loosen it 3 turns.
Yeah.
If it's not adjusted right and you need to go up or down, don't ever go more than.
It don't adjust the height of your
What's it do?
denser. You adjust the
The movement. So what's the maximum? You said 5 turns?
Once you open it up 3 turns, you cannot close it more than 2 turns or open it more than 2
You
turns.
can't go open or
Yeah.
close more than 2 turns.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, so you're gonna be maxed at 5 and minus at 1.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, got it.
Another question for
Yeah.
for deep rule. For the deep rule. Like this. We know each time the each time the weight pin changed, this will inverse a little.
Okay.
This function, this 20 degree can adjust or not? What's the function for this?
Talking about the capstan,
And the nipple,
the nip roll.
yeah, the nipple. Each time the 1 week or week pin rotate, during the next time the nipple start, it will a little bit invert direction. The function.
Yeah, oh yeah, because when you skip, the denser starts to go down, so you can it makes it go back. Oh, you mean the draw roll? It goes back.
We could change it after each time the wicket change, the nipple will invert direction.
Reverse. So when the machine skip or stop, the roll will reverse a little bit.
There's 2 things. There's a parameter in the system that is film reverse. You have this, and then there's a jumper in the EDC. You know the computer, there's 1 jumper in it that can make it do that. But normally when it's in the EDC, it's every bag. So if you would film the machine, every bag, it draw the bag, then back a little bit. Draw one bag and go back a little bit, yes.
So only when the wicket changes, it inverts a
Yeah,
little.
it could be in the parameters of the machine.
So this parameter normally need to change or not?
Yeah.
Only need to change.
If you want, maybe tomorrow we can look on the bag machine, try to find the parameter.
Because outside, I remember some machines have no such function. Some machine we can see a little bit invert,
Yeah.
but some have no such function.
And yeah, because some of the time when you skid, the film stays steady on the sealing roller. And you know, like when you turn the switch to make seal and it goes back up, if you don't turn the sealing roller already, the seal will stick to the sealing roller. So then when you start it back, it wraps around. So you have a function that when you stop or you skip, the film will back out a little bit just to the seal don't stick to it. So maybe we could just get it down to 0 or change it and it would stay stable.
Outside the some machine have no such function.
Yeah.
We study the stop the machine.
Yeah. Sealing, sealing extremely important section of the machine. If you don't seal, you don't have a bag. So, and the film varies a little bit, not always come from the same place. So you have a lot of variables, you know, in your seal. So it's a hard aspect of the machine to really master for everybody. So what seal actually is, it's three factors put together to give you a seal. So you have temperature, you have pressure, and you have duration. All these three factors together will give you a seal. So normally on our machine, pressure we don't want to touch. Normally we have maintenance adjust a seal bar, even when you put about that 3.5 pounds of pressure on both sides. So you have even pressure. Temperature, 950, 975, maybe 1,000 degrees. So normally we try not to touch these two, and we change duration to change our seals. So if, like you said, you run with 60 dwell or 20 and you have almost the same seal, it can be because too much pressure maybe, or temperature too high. It could be one of these. So all these three together will give you a seal. We already talked about the well on the old generation. Depending on your speed, it changes your duration. So it doesn't mean that because at 260 you have a good seal, that at 280 you will have a good seal. On the new machine, it doesn't matter. If I'm running 260 and I have a good seal, at 300 I will have the same seal. It will be as good. I don't need to redo all them checks. On the 175, don't make your setup at 220, go up to 280 and just leave. Your seals might not be good. So the duration, that's what it is. It's determined by the seal dwell of the machine. Your speed will give you your duration. The penetration or pressure is how maintenance will set the seal bar. We normally want to have always 3.5 pounds pressure on both sides with the gauge. The reason why the pressure is very important so you see this here is the tip of the seal bar. So it's machined to a precise radius. That radius is made for the type of bag that we're doing, the thickness that we're running. So when you go to that 3.5 pound of pressure, it means that the tip is barely making contact and barely entering the rubber of your seal roller. Now if you go up a lot of pressure and the machine knocks like bang, 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 because you might be running with 10 or 15 pounds of pressure, this is going down in the sealing roller, in the rubber. And now you're not sealing with the tip, you're sealing with the edges. And you get fat, bad, rough, not good looking, awful seals. So we don't want to have that. That's why we always want to have the right pressure to make sure that the tip makes its job. Same thing with temperature. If you go too high, you might burn the resin and get black flakes in your seals. We don't want that as well. That's why we just go with duration. Only duration is what allows us to make adjustment.
Remind me the radius of knife we're using from 1 mil to
132nd.
132nd.
Yeah.
That's the radius of knife.
Maxime, I have a question.
Yeah.
Normally we run the short bag, and after that we run the long bag. We have to double with the knife.
Yeah.
The knife worn out.
Yeah. So when you run, let's say that's your that's the seal bar. That's my sealing roller. let's say you run the bag this long here, or let's say you run the bag this long, right? So what happens when you seal in the bag is oil, right? So it's anti-corrosive. It protects the seal bar from corrosion, right? So here you don't protect the seal bar from corrosion and you keep hitting it. So here it's gonna start rusting that tip and it gets damaged and it gets flat, it gets in bad shape. So let's say you have a small bag like this and you run it for 2 months. 2 months at a time, you always get 15-inch bag, always, always, always. And all of a sudden your boss comes and he asks you to run a 18-inch bag. So now you go here. Well, you can be sure that from here to here, you're not gonna have a good time. Because all that section here is rusted. So here you have a good protected tip, sealing the bag good, and here you have a flat rusted edge. So I don't know, here do you have the stone to clean? So we need to do that, but there's only so much you can do, right? At some point, you just heat up the blade and you need to change it.
Just the point on the stone, that should only be done by maintenance.
Yes,
That should never be done by the operator.
never.
That should only be done by maintenance. That should
Only
never
be done by maintenance.
the operator. Did you get that clear, everybody? Everybody clear? Okay, thanks.
And another question about the Teflon on the seal rod. Some machine where the Teflon always damaged on.
Yes, it's about the same thing. So let's say you're running a bag like this here for 2 months. You have nice edge here. So you look at the tip of the seal bar, it looks like this, and you have a nice tip, just like that. So that don't damage Teflon. And then here, from here to here, since it's been 2 months that you've been just heating up and messing up on the sealing roller, your tip is going to look like this, right? That makes damage. That will burn up your Teflon tape. That if the operator don't change the Teflon tape, it will damage the seal roller, and then you'll have to replace the seal roller. So if the operator calls you and says that he has to change Teflon tape 2, 3, 4 times a day because it gets damaged, then you take the stone and you just clean that off here to make it smooth. So then Teflon is going to last longer, and at least you won't have that issue for another 1 or 2 months.
Maintenance. Okay. So how often, like Greenboro, I understand, changes the draw roller, the seal roller, Teflon once a day?
I think it's once a day, yeah.
Once a day. So how often are we changing here?
One a day.
Once per day. So it's happening pretty fast on some of our lines. Because I know what you're talking about. I've seen it almost expand up like a ball.
Yeah. So what you can do is get the stone to clean it up, and you can go down on pressure on that side a little bit here. Maybe reduce pressure so you don't hit it as hard. But yes, it's something that happens everywhere. And just so you know, in Montreal we have a CNC machine to make parts, and we're making tests now. We made a seal bar from brass. So brass don't oxidize, it won't rust. So right now it's been on the machine for about 4 weeks, so we're gonna see how it lasts. But if it's hard enough that it don't get the tip flat, because brass is kind of soft, it might be a good thing. Because if it don't rust, you can run this for 6 months and then go to a long bag, and you won't even notice it,
Yeah.
So if it works good, that's what we're gonna be sending everywhere. If it don't work, no good.
Nhưng mình mạ nó được không ta? Mình mạ nó một lớp mỏng.
Vậy thôi, để có là chi.
Cái nói là cái đoạn đó nó sẽ bị mòn, vì mình mạ nó sẽ không mòn nữa. Nó không có bị
Nhưng mà khi em đổ lên hàng rồi sao?
Normally the filling bar, the life.
Of the seal bar?
Normally.
It depends. It depends from the plants, because Saint Montreal and now NSF in Greensboro try to do the same thing. Let's say you have enough bag machines to afford to do this. You say that bag machine 1 always runs this side of the bag. The bag machine 9 always runs long bags. The bag machine 4 always runs very short bags. And you don't change all the time, it can last very long with the seal bar. Because if every month you go from a short bag to a long bag and maintenance need to come with a stone, they clean the edge but they remove material, right? So then you get smaller seal bar and there's only that many times you can do it, you know?
Let's say you run Thomas on 10 machines all year long.
I would say maybe 9 months out of seal
9
bar.
months on nine.
As you know, outside and inside the same film material. So my feeling outside, I never go to Canada side, don't see the situation. Outside we think the smoke seems a little bit higher. I heard from a previous team who came to Canada side because the material different.
Yes.
So the knife cleaning hammer outside will be
Yes, that's a good
frequently.
point.
Yeah, more frequently.
I saw here that they clean every 10-15 minutes. Yes, that can damage the bar a bit quicker as well. Because there's if you have to.
So outside the filling blade, the knife, half a year will change.
Half a year?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Normally, 6 months. I think that would be decent. Maybe 9 months is good. I think, if I remember, we might have seen some seal bars going up to a year, but it's not, common. When we see that, we're all excited, all happy. But I think 6-9 months, good.
For our side, low speed machine, I think more than 1 year.
Yeah.
Effect some machine more than 2 years, no problem. But for high speed machine.
Yeah, if you have a machine that runs 170 bag a minute, let's say a zipper machine, only runs zipper. It runs at 110, 120 bags a minute. The draw rollers could look like this. It would work. Your fingers could look like this. It would still work. The seal bar tip could look like this. It would still work because you're running at the 110, running very slow. So that's the bad thing about these jobs. When you run one machine slow all the time, everything gets damaged, but you don't notice it because it don't gives you any issue. So at some point, you try to speed it up. You put a good job on it. You want to have 240 bags a minute. Draw roller's not good. Vacuum pump's not good. Seal bar's not good. Sitting roller is bad. Vacuum arms are bad. The hubs are bad. Conveyor belt is loose. The pins are jacked up, and the unwind chucks are messed up. The web guide is bad. And then you don't know what to do because everything is damaged. So once in a while, just try to speed it up. Just at least see if you have issues. Then we can fix it. But I agree, if you have a machine that runs at 110, 120, the seal bar can last 2-3 years on it because it can get completely destroyed. It's still going to work.
Go back to the knife again on the smoke. So China's doing the butane resin. You got it. Canada's on Texan resin. So the bag is stiffer out of Canada. And so how often are you cleaning your knives?
It really depends. Clear film? Barely never.
In Greensboro, you're cleaning about every 30 to 40 minutes.
I think it was more than that.
More than that? Twice
I know in Montreal, I don't think we clean more than like once an hour at
Once
least.
an hour? Okay.
Yeah.
But on this film, we're cleaning every 15 minutes. But it's quick. It's less than a minute to clean it. But it's different from the resin we're using.
Only can be also, it can be, the temperature, maybe that resin takes more to burn and you always, accumulate a little bit on the seal bar.
Yeah,
Maybe the resin melts quicker, so you don't build up on seal bar.
we tend to be around 975 most of the time.
I know when we used to run the white film a lot, depending on the amount of master batch they have in the film, you can have to clean it every 2 minutes maybe sometimes.
And one thing we found in Greensboro on white film, the operators thought if they went up in the temperature, it would burn up the buildup on the
No, then you
blade.
get black flakes in
But it
there.
made more buildup on the blade, made it worse, so we lowered the temperature and it's better. All right, thanks a lot. Next one.
All right, so that's good. Another thing that's extremely important for this is leveling the seal head. if your seal head is not level and your tip is not hitting the center and you're hitting here or here, well, two things happens. If you're hitting here, you have more pressure on the bag coming in here and barely no pressure on this bag here going there. So you have two edges on your bag. You have a leading edge and a trailing edge. So on the bag that's going out, you'll have the trailing edge is going to be extremely weak because it's been hit here where you have barely no pressure. And the leading edge, the one on the next bag, is going to be rough seal, too much pressure on it, like smeared kind of seal, extremely strong. So when you get on the bag and the packer says that seals are weak, but it's always the same seal that fails, always on the same side, look at the angle. Obviously, if one seal is strong, one seal is weak, angle of the seal bar, that's probably the only thing that can happen.
You got one on both sides. You gotta check on both sides.
Yeah.
Another question is in the photo, the last thing, the thing. We know in the thinking by the heating element inside.
Yeah.
Heating element will make the problem is the heating, when we change the heating element, it's easy to pull out or each time we change the heating element, we need to change the seal bar or not.
Yeah. Normally, if the heating element is bad, you need to change the whole seal bar. Because when you adjust it, it takes a shape, right? And you get, so when, if you take it off to change the heating element and you put it back on, it won't have the same shape. And it's extremely hard because everything heat up together. So we normally
should be hard to move out.
Yeah. So normally if you have a bad heating element or whatsoever, every time you change the seal head, all this, except, for the heat shield, but all this has to be changed. Because these, they get heat up and they can bend a little bit, they can be all not even. The back plate here, same thing, it can get not even. These bolts, don't waste your time trying to save these bolts. Not worth it. They're all going to be heated. Use new ones. Heating element, if it was still good and you're building a new seal bar, don't put it in the new seal bar because it can fail in 2 weeks. Then you just waste everything because you try to save the $30 heating element, So everything here, except the heat shields, change. Put new ones. Not worth trying to save.
Hay hết. Nó có giữ là cái siêu qua cái siêu nét thôi. Chỉ giữ là siêu nét thôi.
Cái điện trở nhiệt biết còn
Cái
chạy
ngoài không bỏ điện giải nhiệt luôn, chỉ giữ cái miếng bọc cách nhiệt ở ngoài thôi.
Just side for knife. Each time a knife change, you change the heating element. Heating element life is same as a knife. Like this or not?
I have trouble like YouTube when the head element broken.
Yeah.
We replace the knife too.
Or the
Knife.
knife.
It's too hard to take
But sometimes it affects the heating element, the quality is bad, so it's easy failure. So, but if we same time change the heating blade, it means a waste.
Not worries, you're doing what you have to do.
Have to do.
You've got bad sealing elements, bad quality sealing elements, you've got better quality sealing elements.
But the unit is like this. The heating bar is okay, like we just change 1 or 2 months, but only the heating element failure. I think this time we only need to change the heating element.
If you can do it easily, I don't really see an issue. It's just if it's hard to readjust after that.
cái điện trở không ra được
không đỡ được.
không đỡ được
Khi mà nhặt vô mà nó nóng là nó cháy.
That's strange to be going out that quickly.
Cái điện giải nhiệt sử dụng rất là lâu, nó không có dễ hư đâu. Nó có hư lắm. Khi mà cái điện giải nhiệt hư là cái lưỡi dao phải nhẹ.
mà nó gắn vô rồi mà nó thôi gọi là
Great.
Alright, so, did all of you ever saw the whole assembly for seal bar mechanism, what the seal is? So, on the top, you have your knife block here. That's the screw for the adjustment of the pressure. When you unscrew that one, you get a gap here, spring pushes that down, more pressure on the seal bar. You screw this one up, you lift it up, less pressure. You have a linear bearing into it, so when you stop the machine, it goes up, then goes down because of this. Bushing for the seal head. Here, no loose. You can't have no loose in there. If you have loose, seal bar moves, not stable, not good seals, not good quality. So always have good bushings in there. That cylinder lifts that up, and the way to adjust that cylinder, that's very important because on your machines here, they're not adjusted okay. That nut needs to be all the way down here on the cylinder head. Then you get your knife block on it. Then this one here, you screw it. When you get here, you back out a quarter of a turn, and then you lock it. You always need to have loose here. If you don't get it loose here, the knife blocks will try to align itself with the other one when you put the seal bar in. So if they're not aligned like this, something is going to wear out. And now on some of your machines, the plastic block that guides everything is wore out because this is too tight. So it has to find some room somewhere. So this will wear out, this will wear out, the bushings will wear out. That's the top.
So there is an SOP properly setting up a hot knife, correct?
Yeah, we should, I think. That's the bottom part of it. So that's the same push rod. In the machine, you have two bushings on it. But here's what is bad about the design on it. You have the fork, your cam bearing, and the cam of the machine. Here you have the spring. And here you have the plastic block that guides, in that fork and the slide, it keeps everything straight. So that plastic block here needs to be straight. But the bad thing, look where that spring is. It's not in the axis of your push rod, right? So if you have So you have your push rods. On top of it, you have the knife block, everything, seal head goes onto it. Here in the frame of the machine, you have one bushing and one bushing, right? This is a bearing, so it's perfectly flat. And down here, you have your cam. Perfectly flat. So this rides on your cam. Good. Then that spring here is putting a force offset from your axis. So it's trying to get this at an angle like that, right? But you have good bushings, so it keeps it straight. Then over time, your bushing wears out, and then you have some loose in your bushings here. Right? So then loose. So the spring is going to push it and get your push rod to be, I exaggerated, I mean it's never going to be like this, but the bearing,
Not going to be flat.
bearing is going to end up like this, right on the edge of the cam, right here. By riding on the edge of the cam, instead of having a flat surface, wide on wide, you're only having a small surface in the center of your bearing. So your cam rotor will get bad about every day, and this will go bad about once a month. So every month you'll have to change your cams because they get all damaged and eat up because you're riding on the edge. Another thing that's gonna happen, if I go back to this one here, imagine your push rod gets like this, right? If my push rod gets at an angle like this because I have loosened my bushings, what's gonna happen to this? The axle is gonna be about like this, right? Then you put seal head in it straight, then you get the bolts tight.
Wow.
Your bushing, a few days, gone.
So, we were touching the knives today, where if you can take the knife and physically just move it.
And when you want to check it, what's very hard, that spring here, I don't know if you saw it, it's extremely thick, very, very hard spring. So you have a plate on top of it with 2 bolts. Take the plate off, remove all the spring tension, so no more tension on that spring. Then you take the knife block, and you can see what loose you have in it. If you feel any loose, no good. Any loose that you have, the spring will make it crook, you know?
Right now, I can grab a few knives today.
Yeah.
I can move the head a little bit, about like that, and I can move the knife about like that.
Yeah, that's no good.
So you have to take it out and then reuse.
Yeah, so when we do that, knife goes out, knife block, we take it off, we take that bracket here off, the fork, we take it off, take the push rod out completely. So on the machine that's damaged, you need new fork, new axle, new bearing, new push rod, new spring. You have the square plastic block on it that guides it. You need a new one, new bushings. That's 4 bushing for the whole machine. And you change it. The issue with the bushings, this is a pumps and shafts. So they're press fit in the frame of the machine. So when you put your bushing in the frame, it shrinks. So it becomes 0.9988 smaller because it's shrunk. So when you put new bushings in it, you have to take a reamer. You know what a reamer is? The tool that makes a...
Liên hành với em là đã có thay một lần chưa? Cái bộ như là đi mà không có thay.
Máy hay.
You know what this is?
Máy hay.
Hay hết rồi.
Máy này.
So this, if you don't already have the good tool for the machine, you ask purchasing to ask us in Montreal, because what we do, we take the old push rod, so that's old push rod that you have, we drill a hole in it, we machine it good, we machine this here, then we press fit. We press fit the reamer and we weld it to it here. So when you put your new bushings, you take your tool, you machine the first bushing, then when it goes down, the push rod 1 inch goes into the first bushing. So when you do the second bushing, you're perfectly lined up. Then when you take it out, everything here is perfect. Put the new push rod in, no loose.
You have SOP on this?
No, not yet.
We need an SOP on this.
Yeah.
You can talk again slowly.
Yeah. So this, you know what a
I
reamer?
think if we use the original part, we don't need this part.
The original part from yes, you still need to do this.
Still need this.
Yeah. Yeah, because we also use the original part from Hudson Sharp, but when you press them in the frame, it gets smaller, so you have to machine it. And the only reason why they don't take a bigger bushing and think that when it shrinks it gets to the right dimension, it's because if you get smaller a little bit, it will overheat and damage, and if you get bigger, you'll have loose. So you have new parts, but already bad. So even if you look in the book from a Hudson Sharp, they say when you change these, you need to get a reamer to machine them. But what we did is just machine a reamer to a push rod, just to make sure that it aligns both bushing good. So you're not machining them, at an angle
How do
already.
you put the trimmer to the root, the root?
We use a lathe machine.
We have an lathe.
Blade, we don't have.
Yeah, no, we do in Montreal. We'll ship you one.
Yeah.
We'll ship you one like this. But it's just important
We
that
just make the parts there and ship them to us.
Yes.
Okay.
When you have loose here, no good.
So we call
that's the
PNet and
point.
say we need these parts.
Yeah.
Or-
Or copy me just at least I know about it.
Okay.
And get it done then.
Okay. A reamer.
Có hóa đơn máy tiện mà không có máy tiện. Hả? Có hóa đơn máy tiện lỗ mà mới đút cái đó vô.
So sealing is clear for everybody. Seal bar needs to be aligned. Pressure needs to be good. When you guys build seal bar in the shop, I already looked at yours, it was good. Same thing that same thing than the draw rollers, right? So you have seal roll, bearing here, right? That's your seal bar frame. Seal bar, good drawings, right? So when you seal a bag, you put pressure on that roller, right? To make a seal. So this roller, when the seal bar hits it, the bearings are further out. So that roller will make this, just slightly, just a little bit. But if you build your seal head straight, perfectly straight, you will have pressure here, no pressure in the center, not cutting. You can't have that. So what we do is we give it just a small arc. Like we took that marble in the shape and the shop. We looked at the arc on the seal head. We can see your seal bar was making just
Slide work.
a slight, very small arc. When we say very small, it's not big. Very, very small. Because if you go too big, you'll have 3.5 pounds here, 3.5 here, and 40 here. That's what Greensboro had before. So when you have that, every time you seal, you see your sealing roller going down, and then you break bearings, you break the blocks and everything.
So roughly that dimension, you think it's like a quarter of a millimeter or?
Let's see. Not a lot.
No, it's very small. 10,000?
Very small. We never measured it. We just,
It's
just
very,
looked at
very,
it like, yeah.
just, you see light.
Yeah, you see
Okay.
like that's about it. Very small. So by giving it just a small arc like this, if you have 3.5 here, 3.5 here in the center, you should have between 3 and 5, which is good. So then you're going to be cutting everywhere. Now, what we have to keep in mind is the pressure that the seal bar puts on the sealing roller. It gives a maximum pressure of whatever. So if you put a piece of tape here, I don't know if your operators do that sometimes, they put an extra Teflon on the sealing roller, if you have a weak gusset or something. So you give more pressure here if you have weak gusset or whatsoever. So it works, because you put more pressure here. But by putting more pressure here, you put less pressure here and here. So same thing with your overlap. When you put the Teflon, that's your overlap. Overlap should be about this big. If you have overlap this big, not good. because too much pressure here, less pressure here and here.
So I think we have too much overlap here.
Yeah, a bit too much. But
So you think overlap should be more like a 1/16 of an inch?
yep,
We're more like
16 maybe an 8.
1/16 to an eighth of an
Yeah.
inch.
I saw some more than half an inch.
Half an inch.
So everywhere, same thing in the draw roll. You put a piece of tape, you have more pressure here, but less pressure on the sides.
I see sometimes they wrap the Teflon like a cigarette.
Yeah. On the way around it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that in Greensboro. It works because you have same pressure all the way around your. Let's say you can have just an overlap this big. It works too because the chances that you get on the overlap might be a bag every 100 bags. It's not gonna make a big difference. But if you make overlap this big, then maybe 30% of your bags will have too much pressure, you know. So it depends. I mean, Montreal does spiral like you do. St. Luc does the spiral like you do. Greensboro does wrapped around.
So roughly, the wrap should be like 1.5 millimeter to maximum 3 millimeter. We're doing something like 12 millimeters.
Chọn
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Canada thì
Is that in our training program, the wrap, how much we overlap? Because sometimes they're using, he's seen it, I've seen it, a ½ inch overlap, 4.5 millimeters, but he's saying it should only be 1.5 to 3 millimeters when you're wrapping a sealing roller. Overlap should only be 1.5 to 3 millimeters. I'm not sure that's spelled out
cái
clearly.
kích thước của cái Teflon của mình nhỉ? Dày à? Chiều dày
12 về 6 về 6.
như vậy đó thì
Teflon. I will check the thickness of the Teflon, but now normally
Overlap.
we one cover. Not so overlap.
No. What we're seeing when you wrap in a spiral,
Quấn như thế. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same
we see,
không qua đó.
we're seeing overlap
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
between 6 millimeters and 12 millimeters. We've seen it out
Chồng
there
với
this
nhau
past
là
week.
6 đến 10 thôi.
So he's saying you can only be 1.5 millimeter overlap to 3 millimeter overlap when you wrap.
It's just the smaller the
1.5
better.
to 3 millimeter.
It's not that you cannot run, you can still run with big overlap, but the smaller the better, the more stable you'll be.
The seal, everything, you'll be hitting more evenly
Yeah.
across the sealing roller.
So,
Second outside ranking Teflon tape, not spiral.
You cigarette wrap,
Yeah.
just like Greensboro.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. But then you still have to make sure you have a small. So China and Greensboro do cigarette wrap,
yeah, with small overlap.
and we can do the same.
So now we do follow Canada.
Yeah, right now, but that's okay. It works. It works in Canada. It works in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as long as you don't get too much overlap.
So for the mechanical of the seal, that's good. And then there's always stuff also that can impact your seals that are different than the mechanical. You know, like the pick-off adjustment can impact your seal quite a bit too. If your pick-off comes late, later than it should, the seal bar goes up before you pick it up. So when the seal bar goes up, it normally brings the bag with it. So you spend more time on the seal bar, you over melt it, you make a rough seal, and all that melted film can stick on the other bag when you get back on that wicket, and you can't miss the pins and whatsoever, and you'll see it. And that video, if you pay attention, look at the bag, it will follow the seal bar going back up. So I went on the machine with a good setup, and I just messed up the pickup on it. And do you see the seal bar bring the bag up
Yeah.
before the arm picks it up?
It's sticking.
Because I'm supposed to pick the bag up here, and then I'm getting length on it. So the seal bar already went up.
It's carrying it with it.
Yeah. So that will affect your seal quite a bit. Then if on the other end, my pickoff is too early and I try to pick it up in advance too much, it won't even work that good. Look at that, already jumped up. Boom. I'm trying to pick up a bag when the seal head is not already on the sealing roller. So I'm lifting the bag up and I'm gonna cut it and seal it without the sealing roller. So you're just tearing melted film. So you get the jab on it. So even if your seal bar, everything looks good and everything is level, good pressure, good sealing roller, good seal bar, good draw rolls, you can still have bad seals if the pickoff is wrong or if you have anything else. I had the operator call me on the machine. He said it was not cutting. I get on the machine and that's what he's running, and he says not cutting, gets jam up. And it was running at 230, and that's on the 275W. So what happens on that job, he had 18.5 inch long bag, so he's not using the turned arm, he's only using 2 arms. And the bag is 1 mil. So when he picks up the bag, my pickoff is good, I pick up the bag. When I'm about here, normally you start to shoot the next bag, right? When on his, it's 1 mil film and it's long bag, so you don't have a lot of support on it. So he's here with the arms, but the center of the bag is still on the sealing roller because it makes like a parachute, right? So then you start to push the other bag, the seal makes contact and they're still melted. So they get back together and you try to transfer bag and it says it's not cutting. Well, I mean, obviously you can see it's cutting. It's not that it's not cutting, it's just re-welding bags together. So there's a few things there. First, it would be good to use the third arm. But let's say you don't have a third arm on that machine. What you can do is cheat your pickoff a little bit. You get your pickoff just a little bit higher. Draw, start, delay, you go up. So instead of shooting the bag 5 degrees and making contact with the center of the bag that's making that parachute, you give it 25 degrees. So you're gonna shoot your bag when you get here. Right? And then no contact, no double welding or whatsoever. So you cheat it with your pickoff, you cheat it with the draw start, and then I went up to 330 bags a minute. So 230, jam ups, not cutting, issues. And the bad thing, that was a 30 roll job. And he called me when it was up to 29 rolls. So he had 1 roll left. He ran for about a full week struggling with jam ups and everything. And we just cheated, we got up to about 330 bags a minute, then we stopped, put a third arm, put the rope tables good, and 330, 340 bags a minute, stable. But he didn't use the third arm at first because we say 19 inch. But obviously you can see on that one, even at 18 inch, it's 1 mil, it's making that parachute again.
So we go 1 mil, if we've got 3 arms, we can use 3 arms.
But if you don't have them, draw, start, delay can help you. But keep in mind that, the more you go up on that one, the more you're gonna try to rush your bag out so you can create a few more issues. But you can test it, you'll see. If it improves, it improves. If it gets worse, it gets worse. But the important thing, if you get your draw, start, delay to 25 to run that job, the next job that comes in, make sure you put it back down to 5, 10, or whatever runs good for you. If you leave it at 25, you might be struggling a lot on the next job and fighting issues, So that's why it's important for everybody to understand these things.
Show the good pickoff.
Nhưng mà sẽ trên khi mà cái túi mà nó cắt một lần mà sao thì nó chưa có lấy kịp
Here's good pickoff.
Yeah, they're just picking it up at the right time.
The other thing, we do have a GoPro camera, right? Where do we keep our GoPro camera? Okay. Could we keep it somewhere else? Because if you're having trouble on the floor, you can do a slow-mo really quick. and almost tell exactly what's wrong. Like today we slow-mode on V9, and the top blowdown air was hitting the middle of the bag instead of so we had the operator in China change to go to the about a quarter-inch back, and he changed his blowdown air. So we still have to check that afterwards. But the slow-mo camera, for me, when I use it, I can tell right away if something's wrong with blowdown air or the pickoff timing.
Not the external function.
But only certain people allowed to have a cell phone with slow-mo on the floor, right?
Well, we have a tablet. We should see in the tablet that they have a slow-mo.
We will check with the ID. We can.
Maybe the tablet.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
easier because of the GoPro. There's no screen behind.
Okay.
The one we have,
All right.
there's no screen.
Okay.
So that's why people are like, we can film like this.
So you can't really tell. So the iPhone works great, you know, for slow-mo.
My favorite function.
But now we use the tablet, so we should to check with the ID. Tablet cannot.
Then if they're having trouble, like at night, and they don't know what to do, they can slow-mo and send an email to Tom or Don or An and say, what's going on? And they go with the slow-mo and pretty much almost know what's wrong.
Everything good on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Alright. We can skip add another module, new generation, old generation. So we mostly discussed all that, ceiling well, old generation, physical cams. So you put them on 20, it's 20 degrees. Put them on 40, 40 degrees, 60, 60 degrees. That's it. When your speed changes, your dwell changes as well. New generation, it's milliseconds. Whatever you put on it, it's servo motors. So I set it to 20 milliseconds. It will do cycle in 20 milliseconds, whatever speed you're running. So very good control on that. And the other difference you have is the anti-bounce system. The tension setting I told you is right here. So here, set it like this, 1.1, it means that your draw roll is running 10% faster than the anti-bounce roller. That is a lot of stretch. So if that one does 10 inch, that one does 11 inch. So you stretch the bed quite a bit of the machine, so that you will have issues. Sealed well, that's where you adjust your dwell on it, the amount of milliseconds. What I really like about that one here is you can fine tune it. It's not 20, you can try 19, 18, find where the right spot is. Works very good. Conveyor pin, auto adjust, all that is pretty cool. If you set up, teach the distance between your pins to the right position in it, and you get a job with 7-inch wicket, you just hit 7.00, enter, wickets are going to 7 inch. Then next job is 5-inch, 5.00, enter, go back to 5 inch.
You don't have to manually do anything, it just automatically goes to.
Well, you have to bend if number 2 is different than number 1.
Correct.
There you don't have to bend.
Go back to that 1.1 again.
Yeah, here.
So what would you recommend for NV outfeed?
There's no magic numbers on that. It depends on the wear of your rollers, depends on the film you're running. If you have tape in a roller, it's going to change the diameter on it. So, like I said, the best number is you get your film to go sag to low tension, and you increase 0.01 at a time until you get film steady.
When it's steady,
Then you know it's perfect tension.
between the bounce,
Yeah.
anti-bounce, and the draw roller, right?
And I can't see any good reason for an operator to have the anti-bounce unit open. That's a good tool. $50,000 extra to have that on your machine, you have to use it. If they keep it open because they say that it don't hold the eye, that's because outfeed tension is wrong on it. If that here you have the right adjustment, this is a perfect tool to help you run good. So we need to learn how to use it good. Conveyor, last point that we have, at that point, when you get to that section, you extruded your film, you store that film, you ship that film all the way here, then you print it, Then you get it on the bag machine, you fold it, you cut it, and then you miss the pins and you throw it down on the floor. Expensive waste, because you paid that process all the way around just to throw it down on the floor. So get good control on your pins. It's important. That's how you want to set your pins. They say 1/8 of an inch gap, so we have to give us a tolerance. So 1/8 minimum, 3/16 maximum. Same thing, Allen keys, 1/8, 1/16. So when you get on one like that, you want to circle all the arms and see if the gap is the same, no matter what it is. You want to have the same gap. If arm number 1 is that far and the arm number 6 is that close, you cannot adjust your pins to arm number 1, because then when you get to arm number 6, you're going to hit the pins. So you want to make sure all the arms are even. How to adjust the arms? Knock on them. Hit them. They're going to get straight. Make sure you have a good rubber gasket on it. If the rubber gasket is damaged or the collar is loose, you will have a lot of play in your arms. So make sure all that is good and they're tight. Then you adjust, make sure all your arms are good. When all the 6 arms are the same, you circle the conveyor 1 full turn. Conveyor skip 1 complete turn, and you look at the pins. You don't want to bend the pins because one of them was out a little bit. You know, you're going to bend 12 pins because one was out. So you cycle the whole conveyor to have a good idea of how it looks like. Then when you have a good idea, you put a piece of tape on one arm. You make a mark where your pin falls on that arm, and then you cycle the conveyor. You'll see if your pins are offset a little bit. You can bend or put shims on them to line them up with your marks. And then you get your Allen keys. 1/8 needs to be free. Cannot be stuck, because if you go closer than 1/8, it will hit. And 3/16 need to be stuck. Because if 3/16 is free, you're going to be missing the pins, and you're going to be stacking on the bag, not in the pinhole. So Allen keys again, and you cycle all your pins like this, so they line up with the marks. 1/8 free, 3/16 stuck. And then once you do that, everything should be fine. What happens is if you get too close than 1/8 and you start hitting the pins, you're going to change the adjustment, maybe break the belt, maybe break the brass turning parts, and then you're going to have a hard time to fall on your pins. If a packer has a machine that runs good and all of a sudden it starts hitting the pins, don't stop the machine and or slow it down. You skip to the next section, it works good. Take a piece of tape, red piece of tape or whatsoever, put that one on the skid that ran bad. Then you can call maintenance. Tell him that skid gives me issues. So you will get to that skid and adjust it to make sure that that one is good, just like the others. If it just never hit the pins good on all of them, I mean, there you have maybe another issue. But if you stack good every time, and on one skip you start hitting and dropping on the floor, don't redo the whole conveyor. That's the only one that's bad. You know, put a piece of tape. When it comes back, you have the same issue. Then you know what to fix. Clear, everybody? It makes sense. That's mostly it. I mean, unless you have questions. So y'all know where you make your holes. You have 2 more bags on that bed, then you draw that bag, you seal it, pick it up with the arms, then you transfer it. You have a lot of chances to miss that hole here. You know, very precise adjustment. So draw rollers can have you miss the pins, bad sealing, the bad pick-off timing. Vacuum can have you miss the pins.
Just go back, and this is one thing I want to make sure we get on tape, is about the knives that we have that have a different diameter at the lip. Could you draw that up just briefly?
Yeah.
On a hot knife? Because some of our guys were not aware of it, they were building the knives backwards.
So if you look at the steel bars from the top, or even from the bottom, that here will be like your regular seal bar. So here, radius will be 1/32. And so they have what they call a double radius. So here you have 2 layers of film, so you need good radius to melt and seal that. So you have 1/32 of an inch radius on that section. Here where you have the lip, the radius is a bit smaller because you only have 1 layer of film. So if your seal bar is 1/32 all the way across, you look at the edge of your bag and it looks good, and then where you have your lip, it looks like this because you have too much sealing on the lip.
So are you running this style in China? Dual radius?
Outside of the video, only one type.
Okay, so right now, Canada, Greensboro, and Vietnam, all run dual radius to take a better seal on the lip. Nice.
Outside my radio.
Yeah, but I'd like us to get globally the same. And especially if a best practice, we might as well use it. But if we install the knife backwards when we're building the knife, we don't get any use out of it. Main thing is that you be aware of it.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good.
You do the next training?
Good.
You do the next training this afternoon? Well, now?
No.
Can we take a quick break for?
对，它这个设呢，就是说两段之间呢有一个间隔，等它的稳定，因为什么？这个数据是送到那个 PLC 或者说送到控制器里面的这个数据，它计算需要有个两边都有个缓冲，有一段隔离，它理论上是这样，就是我们能够设定的这个，设定的这个，这是所以说，如果我把这段时间设定的尽可能短，那么这个时间肯定就长。 对不对？但是说能不能怎样做到最好、最平衡，这个得在调整过程中要灵活去把握。你这个停止的时间越短，这个越短，这个越长，它加速的时候它就越会缓一点，要不然加速它非常快。如果这段时间很长，就慢下来，慢下来。所以说这个时间调的比较准的话，可能对设备会有利。这个调短了，给它的时间长，加速机器运转会平滑一点。 但是说有一个问题，如果时间太长了，这个加速会快；如果太短了，就是说薄膜可能就是停的时候打孔，薄膜会不稳定，可能会有这个情况。所以说就是这个时间的设置基本上我们是有一些标准的，这个是35，这基本上是5度或者到10度。然后 feel clearing to the function is still need.
It's just a delay.
Delay.
Yeah, it's just a delay. Nothing happens during its clearance.
说这段时间，也就是这2个间隔，就是一个延时，总共有个时间嘛，有个时间延时。停留一下，就这个功能，意思差不多知道吧？留下明白了。讲的就是设备驱动的这个原理啊，讲的这个。OK。
Can you go back up to the top? There's like getting on video. You just started videotaping. I was wanting to videotape this for a little bit. Okay.
Ok. Mà các bạn chú ý nha là cái góc để mình tính là từ đây ha. Vào từng cái này mình sẽ chỉnh như thế nào, ví dụ như clear trên 2 của mình á là mình sẽ chỉnh là 35, phải không? Bình thường ở dưới bạn thấy là rota delay á mình sẽ chỉnh là 10. Rồi clear lên 1 là những cái này mình chỉnh được ở dưới máy. Ở dưới máy mình có thể chỉnh được những thông số này là mình chỉnh 40. Rồi cam là mình sẽ chỉnh bình thường như cam mình là cam 40 đi. Cam 40. Thì lúc này cái máy của mình nó sẽ cái này chỉ có cái này cố định thôi, tất cả những thằng khác nó sẽ thu ngắn lại. Ví dụ như mình chỉnh cái này là 40 hoặc mình chỉnh cái này là maximum của nó là 80 độ đúng không? Cam 80 độ. Rồi như clear lên này thì mình chỉnh là 40, 35, 10, 40. Ví dụ như mình chỉnh cam chỉnh xuống 20 thì cái bảng này của mình nó sẽ siêu cam mình 80 chỉnh xuống 20 ha. Thì cái này cái cam của mình nè, nó sẽ thu ngắn lại, nó sẽ về đây ha, nó về đây vậy ha, nó là 40 ha. Thì thằng này nó sẽ rút ra luôn, nó sẽ rút ra đây, nó sẽ rút ra đây ha. Thì lúc này thì cái thời gian kéo của mình nó sẽ dài ra. Cái không này là ví dụ như ban đầu ví dụ như vậy thì cái ro tham của mình là mình sẽ lấy 360 độ trừ hết cái này ra thì nó sẽ ra trừ có ai có máy tính nó bấm thử cái này cái bao nhiêu?
50 với 35 là 75, 85, 35 cộng với trừ 85. 355.
Là nó ra là 195 độ, đúng không? Là thời gian dành cho ro tham mình là 195 độ. Nếu như mình rút cái này xuống á, thì ro tham mình là nó sẽ được lợi 60 độ, tức là nó sẽ cộng thêm 60 độ nữa nó sẽ ra là 255 độ. Phải không? Hoặc là có thể là mình không có giảm thời gian này mà mình giảm cái thời gian rota delay này thì cái thời gian ro tham mình nó dài ra, thời gian kéo phim dài ra hoặc ngắn lại. Đối với những cái phim dày, tuy là phim dày nhưng mà mình chạy tốc độ chậm á, mình có thể giảm xuống để mà mình tăng cái thời gian kéo của mình lên, thì lúc đó cái phim nó sẽ ổn định hơn. Giống như cái phim mà mình cho nó đi từ từ nó sẽ đi ra chậm vậy, còn khi mà mình đi phim nhanh ra vậy nó sẽ đi theo kiểu vậy nè, nó đi về cái phim nó bị chậm ngược lên vậy, không? Là cái phim mình nó không có tốt, nó là không tốt, còn khi ra từ từ thì nó sẽ tốt. Giống như cái thời gian kéo nè, giống như vậy, nếu mà cái kéo cùng một quãng đường, ví dụ như cùng một quãng đường nhưng thời gian mình cùng một quãng đường tức là cùng một cái bước cắt mà thời gian mình càng ít á, thì mình phải tăng tốc nhanh không? Tăng tốc nhanh lên rồi mình giảm tốc nhanh. Còn giống như mà cùng một quãng đường mà thời gian mình nó dài ra thì mình sẽ tăng tốc chậm và giảm tốc chậm. Lúc đó cái phim mình nó ổn định mà cái máy mình nó bền nữa. Ok.
其实刚才说的这些内容，基本上刚才我也提到了，这个这写的非常清楚。那几个时间，如果这个时间设为这个，3个相加等于这个，这边刘翔虽然说英语看不懂，这个什么意思知道？这个说的。
相加的。
这我知道相加的，不是这个数的代表的是什么意思？你不是看不懂这个？ Web station 可能不知道什么意思。
是要后驱的完成，就是一个带的，就是
这个
加速之后的。
这 ID 加速之后就是静止的时间，啊，走，停在这里
是多少度？
对，
是吧？
这段时间360度减去这个，
这是160加速。
剩余的
加速
送料。
但是你前面改变了，后面是不是也改变？
哎，这是肯定的，
是吧？
因为机器里面的计算的话，它是。 360肯定是不变的，对吧？哎，然后这个静止的时间是这个来的，所以说剩下的时间它减去它，
你静止时间改变了，它加速时间也改变，这绝对
哎，对，
对吧？
所以说，
你后边大，前面就小。
对对。李金峰，别说我也问你一下，要想使这个加减速更平滑一点，是吧？我让他，现在是这样啊，如果想慢这样，如果你要是调低的话，你会改哪些数据？想一想。如果你改的话，哎，你设置的话，我怎么设置？
慢了，后面也要调慢。
对对，就是你调哪个参数，你可以调哪一个，随便说。
调那几个相加起来的那个。
对对，就是我要想把它变得慢一点，让它很平滑一点，这样很均匀一点，而不是说刷过去，这样是吧？要让它慢一点，你也调的话，这个数据是，你比如说这些是调大还是调小？让它变慢一点，送量慢一点，平滑一点。
就调三个相加起来的可以。
对，就是你说这个是调大还是调小的？
让它慢一点。
哎，对，让它平滑一点。让它平滑一点，也就是说，这个数字要减小，这个数字要增大，对不对？所以说这个就要减小，对不对？停的时间就少嘛，短一点，让它停了以后赶快就加速，所以说把这些数字都要调小。当然，现在这里面写的这个数据是120，可能我们实际设的时候，比如说是40，写到了80，这个数值是可以变的，可以设置40，可以设置60，现在写的是120。现在如果我把它减到60，其他的如果都不变，这个就是加上了60，对不对？这个加了60，原来是160，变成220度，一圈360度里面有200多的时间用来加速，那肯定
缓慢，
就比较平滑，是吧？不会说那个机器咚咚咚往上冲，而是说比较均匀一点。但是说有一个问题，你这边设定的短了，这薄膜停了，它停又不一定能停稳了，对不对？因为这个数字是搜到电脑里面，电脑的计算是以它为依据的。之所以分成这两部分，因为电脑里面的计算，它需要一个单独的参数。
对，打孔时间一直是这样。
基本上我们
基本上动的很少。
对对。所以说基本原理大概清楚了。所以说要想送料让它平滑一点，不是说非常飞快的往上加速减速，那么我们把这些时间就要减小。但是说就有问题了，如果薄膜很厚，这个厚度很大，我需要切的时间长一点，再赶快切，停的时间长一点，这个数字那肯定就要增大一点，对不对？这是肯定的。但是说怎样达到平衡，达到最好，这当然是个经验但是说原理是这样的，差不多了。心里知道了，意思很清楚。
Ok, có bạn nào còn thắc mắc về cái này không hiểu những cái này là cái gì không? Rồi thì thông qua nha.
Các bạn OB, đặc biệt các bạn OB có nào không hiểu hỏi liền. Ví dụ như thời gian kéo, tăng thời gian kéo lên thì cái lợi ích từ cái gì, ví dụ vậy mình phải biết. Đó, hoặc là mình điều chỉnh được những thông số nào trong mấy cái thông số mà anh An đang giới thiệu đó, cái nào là máy tính tự tính và cái nào là tụi em được phép nhập vô, ví dụ vậy em hiểu không?
Hiểu hết chưa?
Hiểu thôi.
Những cái thông số này là mình nhập ở trong máy được này, còn này là cái máy tự tính ra, Ok.
Có giải thích cái BC nó sẽ không hiểu giữa cái cài đặt
Hết rồi.
Chưa số lịch sử này đây là có giải thích cái BC mà nó không hiểu được cái cài đặt
我们快速很干，基本上40。
thực tế và cài đặt này
每台机基本上都是40。你现在 V9、V10啊，V7、V8基本上都调到40。
你现在厚度是？
厚是34、31都可以。
这是切到时间的。
对，切到时间。
切到时间的话是30，
现在
我这边都是
30。薄料的话开20就行。
薄料。
对，20。
So for thinner material, this value should be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Thicker, bigger.
Yeah.
40的话厚料。
40要34的。
正常30就行，25、30。
你想它前面都是20。
Ok, mọi nha. Một khi mình setup á, cái cam cơ khí với cái cam trên màn hình nó phải giống nhau. Nếu mà setup không giống á, là cái máy tính nó tính sai là có thể là phim nó chưa ra mà đã hàng, hoặc là nó hàng nó sai mà máy chạy không có được.
sai nó ra cái cửa là
Còn là nó sai nó sẽ phí thời gian, nó mất thời gian kéo của mình. Phim chưa phim chưa ngừng mà giao ra hàng.
Nó có hai tình huống em, ví dụ như tụi em nhập cam 40, cam cơ khí 40 nhưng mà cam trên máy có thể là 20 hoặc 60. Thì tùy theo là cam tăng hay cam giảm mà hơn thời gian hạn.
For clearance 1 and the clearance 2, normally we keep standard and not change. No, normally.
Normally they don't. You can try make adjustments with them. It's like delays before and after the seal. Normally when you have a thin gauge, the bag is less stable. You know, if you have 1 mil film, the bag is less stable, so you need more time for it to steady.
Yeah.
Then when you have thick gauge, like big bag, 1.25 and higher, the bag holds very good, so you might try to go down on your delays and still have good result. So it really depends. You can try to move them.
所以说，如果薄膜停止的话，因为膜厚嘛，它停的时间短嘛，刚才说是吧？静止的时间现在我调的长了，夹缝那边就短了，但是说我这边要调的太短了，薄膜就可以停的不稳，而且它停稳的话是可以适当调整的，
Ông Maxime nói là khi mà mình chạy phim khổ lớn á, và phim mỏng á, là cái phim nó không có ổn định á, thì mình có thể tăng cái clearance lên. Và khi chạy những túi nhỏ như format mà phim dày á, mình có thể giảm xuống. Ok. The next.
Next, cycle is good.
Traction horn, cái này á là nó là cái từ cái ron rồi nó qua cái rulo nó nhảy vậy nè,
Dancer.
rồi xong mà nó mới qua một mớ dancer luôn.
Bé lên bé xuống là nó hiểu rồi, không cần cái vòng tròn đâu.
Rồi nó mới qua cái mid-ron, rồi nó mới lên cái anh quay. Thì từ đây tới đây thì gọi là cái vùng gọi là traction horn, không biết dịch là gì anh Nam?
Cái nguyên toàn bộ các cái vùng này được gọi là cái vùng kéo phim á.
Vùng
Chức năng của tất cả những cái đó đều là để kéo phim hết, nên gọi là traction.
Thì thay vì kéo phim thì phim kéo đây thì cái trục này nó sẽ nhảy, và nó có cái nếp ron này là để nó cắt phim cho cái ron. Nếu mà không có cái phim này nó sẽ kéo trực tiếp, kéo thẳng từ đây mà trực tiếp kéo từ ron tới anh quay. Mà cái quãng đường dài vậy á thì phim mình nó sẽ giãn ra, nó giãn phim, mà cái iMac của mình nó sẽ không có đọc được, nó phim nó giãn ra thì cái bước cắt mình nó bị sai đó. Cho nên là những cái ron này là mình phải vệ sinh. Một cái ron này là nếu mà nó mòn hoặc là nó dơ á, mà nó trượt thì cái ron này nó sẽ kéo một quãng đường dài vậy. Thứ hai là cái ron này mà nó mòn thì nó sẽ trượt. Lúc đó cái phim mình kéo ra, cái phim này nó có cái dùng gọi là window wire á, con mắt nó đọc. Thí dụ như ở đây là con mắt đọc ha. Thì ví dụ như mình kéo phim kéo phim mà nó bị trượt, nó cái này nó bị trượt, nó kéo không có tới á, nó không thấy được điểm đen thì nó sẽ cho nó ra lệnh cho cái động cơ servo á, kéo thêm ví dụ như mình cài cái túi mình 9 inch nhưng mà cái này nó bị trượt nó sẽ kéo ra tới 11 inch giống vậy đó.
Như một phần em thấy nó bị kéo lệch vào một hướng.
Đúng rồi. Kéo lệch một hướng là do cái áp suất, còn cái vấn đề mà cái ron mình mà nó bị dơ, nó bị trượt á là nó sẽ cái bước cắt của mình nó sẽ không đạt, tại vì nó bị trượt. Tại vì phim mình in á, cái mực in á nó dính vô, nó bám vô và bụi bám vô thì cái ron mình nó sẽ bị trượt. Thì ví dụ như em cài là 9 inch đi không, 9 inch mà thực tế nó kéo có 8.9 inch à, mắt đọc không đọc được, cái máy nó phải yêu cầu là 9.1 mà nó kéo cũng không được là nó mới được 9 inch thì nó sẽ làm cho mắt đọc bị sai. Rồi nó thì cái lỗi mà do cái ron rồi á thì nó thứ nhất là nó dẫn đến mắt đọc bị sai, đọc không đúng. Sleep, yeah, okay.
所以说就是刚才提到的呢，是那个驱动的原理。现在讲的呢，就是说目前常会发生的一些故障，就是说，你比如说跟踪嘛，跟踪，我们讲电眼跟踪就是找 iMac 是吧？常有一些故障，这个 iMac not holding， 就是说光波电眼没抓住嘛，光波电眼没抓住与哪些因素有关系，与哪些原理是这样的。所以说，光波电眼就是说，你比如说，我这一个薄膜，这一个电刷走过来的时候，我这个电眼照这个位置，如果我设定多少角度，设定到什么位置，光波电眼走的时候，它有一个窗口，它这个小窗口里面看有没有电眼过来，这个宽度范围正负这个一个之间，这个范围其实说是比较小，这个范围是比较小，也就是光标电眼在这里，如果光标电眼在这个位置，我走的时候，在这个窗口这个范围以内，它没有演得到，他认为就失去光标了嘛，这一个没抓住啊，一个没抓住，两个没抓住，三个没抓住，一直到7个，累积到7个以后，机器自动停了。它有一个设定，这有一个范围，这个范围是多少？是这里，是这个范围。所以说范围非常非常小，很小一点点。这么小的范围以内，如果打滑了，你比方如果这个送料的时候，如果打滑了，那肯定问题就来了，相差一点点，你这个光面就失去了。所以说，一直我们在强调，就是说，every shift cleaning， 就是说每个班要好好的去清洁。清洁的目的当然就是说，你可能有人看上去还蛮好，还比较干净的，可能有一点油呀，有一点脏的，或者有一些特殊情况，它打滑，或者说是张力不好，如果tension非常大，它送过来以后，出来以后又收缩了，
拉伸
收缩了，也是光学的，所以说张力的调整，当时的就相关度后面也是相关度很多，主要的是一个清洁，一个是张力，就是最主要的，里面讲的这些内容。所以说每个虽然说你看上去设备各方面还蛮干净的，还比较好，但是说我们要求每个班一定要清洁是非常关键就是说特别强调这一点就是说你可能意识不到感觉这好像没什么关系，无所谓是吧？但是说时间一长了，累积了，可能就会有问题。大家就是心里面一定要重视起来，对这个 everyday 这个 daily cleaning 一定要特别注意，好吧？当然我们以前在家里面的话，在昆山那边，有的时候经常看到这个滚的表面，我们有的时候经常看到这个滚的表面上沾了点脏东西，或者说有胶带或者有什么东西，经常看到这些东西，一定要尽量不要去拿掉，清掉，要不然的话 有这方面的问题。当然，我觉得如果缠的这个东西，如果缠的东西多了，就会缠的有种东西了，胃镜变大了嘛，是吧？同样转一圈，缝的膜就多了，对不对？当然相差没有那么大，没有那么夸张，但是可能会有这种状况出现。只是讲这个。在这讲，防止它打滑，防止有脏东西，在这清洁的重要。原理就在讲这个，原理就在这。
Cái này dễ nhận biết là gì không? Khi mà cái túi mình chạy 9 inch mà mình cài lên 9,5 inch, 9,7 inch, cái đó là ro mình có vấn đề. Không? Khi nào mình thấy cái này mà nó cao quá là mình biết là nó có vấn đề, nó dơ quá hay là
không phải ra ron có vấn đề, nhưng mà phải kiểm tra trước cái khu vực ra ron và điểm ron
nếu mà
có
ngắn
dơ hay
hơn
không.
nếu mà nhập ngắn hơn,
ít khi nào không có trường hợp nào mà nhập ngắn hơn mà nó chạy đủ.
mà cũng có đó.
Trừ cái ron, cái kích thước ron mình nó không đúng thôi. Ví dụ cái ron mình đắp về nó hơi bự hơn thì nó ấy thôi, chứ còn mà bình thường thì nó sẽ nhỏ hơn là dễ chịu. Bình thường ví dụ như cái túi 9 inch thì mình phải cài 9 inch mốt, cái là bình thường, nhưng mà nó lên nhiều quá thì đúng không? Lúc là mình biết là cái ron mình nó bị trượt rồi đó, thấy không?
Nhưng mà cái máy một nhập ra là lớn lắm luôn mới được cái túi.
Thì cái đó là nó có thể bị trượt, mà khi mà mình bị trượt như vậy á, thì mình đầu tiên mình phải kiểm tra là cái ron mình có sạch không, nó bám bụi dính mực thì là
không được. Sẽ bị như vậy.
Thì lúc đó là làm vệ sinh sạch sẽ rồi thì kêu bảo trì qua, bảo trì sẽ chỉnh lại, điều chỉnh lại. Mà cũng nhiều khi không phải là do cũng không phải là do nó trượt, nhiều khi cái ron mình nó hơi nhỏ hơn, mình đắp về thì nó đâu có chuẩn đâu, có thể nó nhỏ hơn, mà khi mà cái ron nhỏ hơn thì cái máy đâu có hiểu là cái đường kính của cái ron bao nhiêu đâu, thì nó cứ quay đúng thôi. Thì lúc đó nếu cái ron mình nó nhỏ hơn một tí thì cái số của mình nó sẽ hơi lớn ra, vậy không?
Không, đây là nó còn phù ở trong này chỗ đâu nó có cái viết ở cái điều kiện tốc độ của ron chạy là nó sẽ phù cái cấp tăng nó lên xuống nữa. Ví dụ như cấp tăng nó lên quá cao thì nó phải điều khiển cái motor làm sao để chạy nhanh lên cho nó xuống.
Đang nói về cái ron đó hả? Cái ron chứ không phải cái mic ron.
Cái ron ron như bữa Maxime nói là nó chỉ là không phải kéo phim của mình nè, có nhớ không? Cái nếp ron mình ở dưới là nó phim mình là nó đẩy lên,
nhưng mà cái nó đẩy là phía này mới gọi là đẩy nè, còn ở đây nó vẫn là kéo. Ở đây nó vẫn là kéo bình thường, còn đây nó gọi là đẩy.
Rớt cánh tay.
Ví dụ như cái này là để kinh nghiệm cho các bạn thấy thôi, là khi mà mình cài cái này mà nó lên số này bự quá, tức là cái ron của mình đã bị dơ hoặc là nó bị gì đó rồi, chứ không bình thường.
Chứ không phải là do máy tính thành công.
Có nhiều nguyên nhân, nhưng mà khi mà cái bình thường cái máy mình chạy nhập vô 9 inch mà nó chạy lên 9 inch thì là cái máy mình đang bình thường. Một thời gian sau mình chạy thấy rớt túi tùm lum, mà mình phải nhập tới 9 inch máy nó mới chạy ra được cái túi 9 inch, thì lúc đó cái máy nó không bình thường, đúng không? Là mình phải vệ sinh ron, mình phải kêu kiểm tra lại.
Mình thấy em quấn cái bằng keo vào cái nếp ron.
Quấn bằng keo ron mình quấn băng keo cũng được, nhưng mà trước khi quấn băng keo thì phải vệ sinh cái đó. Rồi cái thứ hai là missing pin, tức là rớt túi, thì bước cắt nó thay đổi, thì cái chuyện rớt túi là đương nhiên, đúng không? Khi mà cái túi mình nó ba hội thì nó kéo dài, ba hội kéo ngắn thì nó sẽ rớt túi, là chuyện tất nhiên là mình cũng không có bàn tới. Và cái này là mình nói tới cái chuyện mà nhăn phim.
Bổ sung cái về cái missing pin nha. Cái rớt túi thì nó có nó sẽ bị lệch theo hai hướng nha. Một cái hướng là bị tụt lại phía sau á, do màng mà mình bị trục kéo, mình bị mòn hay đồ này kia. hoặc là các cái trục của mình nó dơ á, thì nó bị trượt và trượt dịch ở phía sau. Và một cái nữa là nó ở đây nó dùng cái từ là buộc sai ấy, có nghĩa là đi qua đi lại, nó đi qua đi lại thì nó bị lệch lỗ luôn. Đấy thì nó có hai vấn đề.
Thì đó anh Nam cũng đã bổ sung rồi ha. Còn cái vụ nhăn phim, ví dụ nhăn phim thì là do cái finger của mình ha. Các bạn thấy cái ron nó vậy, nó sẽ có mấy cái rãnh như vậy, rồi có finger xỏ ngang. Còn cái rãnh này thường thì nhỏ, phải không? Nhỏ. Và khi mà mình chỉnh finger không đúng á, thì sau thời gian á, cái finger nó sẽ làm mòn, cái lỗ này, cái rãnh này sẽ bự ra, cái rãnh này sẽ bự ra, mà bự ra á, là nó nhăn phim.
Maxime, can you show the picture? Yeah, correct.
Đó, cái ron này ông Maxime nói là cái máy mới luôn, chục ron mới luôn, xài mới 3 tuần và bị kẹt phim. Bị kẹt phim mà cái finger nó xỉa vô đây nè ha, nó mòn, sau đó là nó mòn luôn cái này. Lúc này cái phim mình cái ro cái này nó sẽ chỗ nhỏ chỗ lớn như vậy. Thay vì nó bằng vậy không thì nó cái chỗ này nó lõm xuống vậy phải không? Thì chỗ này nó lõm xuống vậy. Thì lúc này là cái này do đường kính nó lớn, nhưng bước kéo nó dài, còn chỗ này đường kính nó nhỏ, cho nên cái phim mình nó bị nhăn lại. Một chỗ thì em kéo ít, một chỗ em kéo nhiều thì tất nhiên phim bị nhăn. Mà có khi thì nó lại sàn qua một bên, hẳn qua một bên luôn. Khi mà bên đây nó mòn nhiều, mà bên đây nó mòn ít thì cái phim mình nó sẽ kéo lệch về cái phía bên mà mình mòn ít á, nó sẽ kéo lệch hẳn về một bên luôn. Và nó cũng là cái nguyên nhân nhăn phim.
Chứ nó bị cọ vô cái con á, nó quay một tí là nó nóng lên là phim đi qua nó cuốn hết trong con.
Đúng rồi.
Cái nhiệt lên là nó cuốn.
Khi mà nó cuốn vô
không, cái phần đó phần dưới sau. Jam up phần sau.
那个刚才讲的和那个就是说刚才与那个操作的原理相关的常见的几个故障，刚才说的是光标电影就没有，是吧？刚才讲的是光标电影没有嘛，这是最常见的哪都有问题。然后
对。
VCP 的就是说挂在这里挂不上，刷，挂不到口上去嘛，是吧？每一次过来我也对不上口这个是第二大故障。我们费了那么大劲薄膜吹出来、印出来，然后再去做带的，最后一道关挂上去了，这里面搞坏了，造成极大的浪费啊。这个故障，第二大故障就是说 VCP 就是说没挂住啊，没挂住的话。与刚才讲到的一打滑不准，光标电眼，万一光标电眼过去了，因为光标电眼有这个偏差，是吧？光标电眼的偏差到后面如果再有偏差的话，那么就是说后面就挂不上了。虽然我的挂在这里一下两下是准的，但是说这里挂不上，所以也常有这样的故障。另外呢，就是说这个起奏送料不好了，容易起奏的时候。所以说造成的问题啊，就是像刚才你看也画了好多例子，我们这个分着了，这是一个多的过程，这是分着啊。那边滚子转的时候，正常应该对着这个槽的，但是万一位置偏了，把这个槽搞大，或者说调的球体斜了就容易歪嘛，所以说。滚子转的时候，把这个槽碰得更大了，造成了磨损。本来应该这么大，但是变大了以后，薄膜从这里走过去，所以我们从这里面走过去的时候，也就是造成了跑到这边上来了，或者你比如说这个地方磨损的很大，它正常应该是这样走，但是说这样走，所以说这些因素都是正相关。一旦有偏差了，就是说恶性循环吧，可以说是恶性循环。 巩膜大了，这个脚跟的磨损了，造成这个薄膜的走的话偏移会更多，造成恶性循环，这个问题就来了。所以说就是说我们在调整那个分割的时候，调的时候，一定这个位置要对正，不是歪了或者要斜了，上下动，一定要平。我们基本上现在机器上基本上还好吧，但是我知道我们厂的话 other side normally the finger adjusting effect not so perfect, also missing some finger also not so alignment. 所以说我们这方面虽然说我们昆山那边做的就是说有的时候感觉设备没有多大影响，但是我们还是严格一点，把这些都装全装完啊，并且调到出皮。所以说这里面这张图讲的特别清楚，就说这讲的就是滚子的间隙各方面调整的角度啊。我们调整的话，这个是有个固定螺丝的，可以上下动，可以动是吧？我们是可以动的。这个螺丝也可以上下动一点，对不对？伸的长度、伸的位置，比如说这个间隙从这里到这里，我们一般是没怎么量过是吧？但正常来说呢，我们现在就是凭着眼睛去看这个间隙的。没眼睛看的，真正它没调整的话，也就是说是1/8的到16/1这个间隙，我们用个那个内六角扳手从那个缝里面一放，如果感觉16/1的放上去，加走开，正好是紧蒙蒙的，有点蹭，感觉磨啊，再放一个小一点的呢，又感觉紧，那基本上差不多是正好。也就是我们调的话也不用去量，你这个参数我们可以不用管它，拿2个扳手，一个这个扳手，一个这个扳手往里面一放，它往这个缝里面一放，2分之一以上。如果太紧了，那肯定要调一调；太松了，肯定就不合适啊。所以说用2个工具就最好，不用尺的什么都简单。它条件就是这样调就可以了。基本上把握这个原则吧，基本上就是说这个原则。调的具体方法呢，让大家再去看，去实际中去摸索，去靠自己经验。
You are just gonna keep the rear end.
Ông sẵn ông anh Kiên anh nói về cái vấn đề này thì mình cũng nói luôn. Thì cái finger của mình á là để hỗ trợ phim. Cái phim đi ra có cái finger nó sẽ không bị thổi ngược lên, không bị dõng ngược lên. Ở đây có cái giao hàng nữa. Khi mà mình giao hàng nó hàng xuống, phim mà nó đi lên, cái phim đi ra nó cuốn ngược như nè là nó sẽ bị đụng vô trong cái giao hàng, nó sẽ bị dính túi. Cho nên là cái finger này á, nó không nên hở xa quá, cũng không hở xa quá thì cái phim mình nó không được hỗ trợ tốt, nó có thể nó phập phồng, nó có thể bay lên bay xuống. Mà mình sát quá thì nó bị gì? Bị kẹt phim. Thì khe hở tốt nhất là 1/16 đến 1/8. Tức là từ 1,5 ly đến 3 ly. Thì hôm bữa là mình bảo trì có canh lại cái finger này 2 máy rồi, nó 1 máy 2. Cái khoảng cách của finger cũng không nên xa quá, từ đây tới đây nó gần một xíu. Cái finger thì cái finger nó phải nào thấp hơn cái ron nè, finger phải thấp hơn cái ron nè, đó thì là nó không mới hỗ trợ phim tốt được. Còn cái finger này nó phải cao hơn cái ron hàng một xíu là hỗ trợ phim tốt. Ok, you can.
Hạnh chứ Phong hiểu không?
I forget the one.
1/32là nhiêu biết không?
这个地方，这里面这个数值就是说，这个滚子是那个密封滚，对吧？这是密封滚嘛？这个分割这个上表面和这个密封滚的表面是这个间隙，也就是说，这个分割这个上表面比它高一点点。对吧？我们是这样的，基本上差不多这样，稍微高一点，理论上应该稍微高一点，稍微高一点。
Okay, you can show the jump up. Jump up.
Từ 1/16 đến 1/8 đến là bao nhiêu? Mình biết là mình tính mình chia về 5 đến 3 ly.
và bị kẹt phim. Kẹt phim là chủ yếu là có nhiều nguyên nhân, mà khi mà kẹt phim á là sẽ làm cho cái finger nó bị cong. Nó làm finger bị cong, mà khi mà finger mà bị cong á nó sẽ tiếp tục làm cho bị kẹt phim nữa. Cho nên khi mà bị kẹt phim á là những gì mình cần phải làm khi mà kẹt phim. Thứ nhất là kiểm tra bánh răng xanh, lô kia. Thứ hai là mình kiểm tra finger, báo ô trì để kiểm tra lại finger. Và cái finger mình á, khi mà mình bị finger bị dơ á, you can show the stick finger dirty. Bạn thấy không? Khi mà mình vệ sinh cái ron á, mình cũng nên vệ sinh cái finger luôn. Cái này nó thấy dính, cái nó là bằng giống như keo á, cho nên nó dính á. Còn cái phim mình có thể dính vô đây, nó cuốn phim. Ở đây có thấy cái ron bị gì không? Có con keo mà nó quấn về là không có gỡ ra được luôn, hay luôn.
就是说分隔上面这个脏的这些东西啊，这时候积累了好多，当然这个照片是放大看的，你实际到现场上看可能感觉不怎么样，是吧？所以说积累的这些灰尘又是很黏，关键是那些东西很黏。我说薄膜走过来去，万一啪嚓沾上一点点，这个膜就绕在这个滚上了，所以说容易就是造成就刚才说的那个，他写的就是说就是堵料吧。 就是堵料加码，就是说堵料的意思，堵料很厉害，包括上面这些胶带，胶带上如果不弄干净，可能容易吸灰，容易有静电，或者容易有其他的杂物，造成容易有这些问题。刚才讲的是常见的几个问题是吧？第一个就是说光背电抓不住，第二个拼后就是那个挂带挂不上啊，第三个是堵料，还有就是说刚才那叫什么我都忘了，这是几个常见的故障。对，下面还有。
Như đây tin nói, như Maxime nói thì mình thấy quấn băng keo ở miệng clip hoặc là ở cuối set, nhưng mà khi mà thay qua đơn hàng mới phải tháo những băng keo cũ ra. OK。
这个清洁特别重要啊，一再强调重要就是我们那边没有特别强调这些东西，好多时候就是说这边呢，不管怎么说，加拿大这边呀，还有美国这边都是总结各地的一个工厂的最好的经验，就是 Maxime 就是给我们集团里面的对这方面的技术是最高的人啊，给我们来指导。所以说他说的我们就是标准啊，真的就是标准。虽然说我们以前做了好长时间也没有问题，感觉还很好，但是说不等于是标准的，不等于是完善的，我们要按照这个标准去来啊。所以说，虽然说我们到现场开机的时候，我机器可以开起来，我也可以开得比较快，但是说不一定就是说是最好的办法。如果是按照这些最好的办法，一开始你感觉可能比较有点费时间，感觉和我们的操作习惯不太一样，可能长久的话，对于稳定性、质量性呢，应该是更标准一点，只能这样说。
Wait a minute. I want to talk to the maintenance guy. Cái này là cái piston gì? Piston kẹp ron á, thì mình set cái áp suất khi mà mình thay cái ron mới á là mình set là 60 psi thôi, 60 psi. Khi mà mình thay cái mình nên kiểm tra cái piston này luôn. Piston này nếu mà nó xì khí á, là nó sẽ làm mất áp. Ok.
All is good with traction. Traction is done.
Các bạn có thắc mắc gì về cái phần từ đây tới đây không? So we should talk about the new
Maxime can do that.
我们没怎么
对，我们没出来。
其实还是
Hôm nay anh làm OB có biết là tại sao mấy cái trục này nó hay bị mòn
我相
không?
信应该是知道的。
Mấy bạn thấy OB không biết không?
我们那边做的，
维修这个我觉
Lý
得
do tại sao nó bị mòn và mau bị
我知
nhơ?
道，你也知道。
Không biết là tại sao không?
现在是反应过来。
nhiều khi là do phim một phần, hai nữa là cái phim rơi.
Tất cả cái
Rồi, tạm
tròn
gì
kéo
nhỉ?
này á, thứ nhất đó là vấn đề mòn và mau dơ á, là do trên bề mặt của phim của mình nó
Đúng
có
rồi.
cái phụ gia. Nó gọi phụ gia được gọi là anti slip, nhưng mà cái này là slip, là phụ gia để làm cho cái bề mặt màng nó trơn dính ra, nó trơn đi, nó dễ di chuyển hơn. Thì cái phụ gia đó nó sẽ build up, có nghĩa là nó thôi ra khỏi cái màng, và trong quá trình chạy nó sẽ dính vào trong các cái roller. Và tất nhiên cái công tùy theo cái nóc kết nó thổi tốt hay nó dở, mà cái lượng nó ra nhiều hay ít, thì sau đó thời gian là nó bám trên các trục kéo và nó sẽ làm cho cái bề mặt trục nó bị trơn đi, và dẫn tới là màng phim nó bị trượt. Đó thì đó cũng là nguyên nhân. Rồi khi mà nó dơ rồi á, thì khi mà màng phim đi qua nó gặp ma sát, rồi cái trục kéo nó ma sát, nó tiếp xúc nó sẽ làm cho các cái trục kéo nó mòn đi nữa. Đấy, thì đó là cái lý do mà tại sao mọi người phải vệ sinh khi BM. Và hôm trước cái ca tuần trước học có nói rồi, thì tuần này nói luôn ha. BM, daily BM có nghĩa là khi các bạn vệ sinh hàng ngày thì mình phải vệ sinh tất cả các cái trục kéo, ok. Nhưng riêng 3 vị trí các bạn phải vệ sinh mỗi ca. Thứ nhất là trục kéo tại giao hàn roller ha, trục kéo tại infinite roller, và cái trục kéo thứ hai đối với máy có 2 trục kéo. Các bạn lưu ý cái đó mình phải vệ sinh mỗi ca. Đấy, nha, lưu ý.
Thì giờ mình sẽ nói thêm về cái máy mới. Cái máy mới nó có cái hai cái ron nữa, cái anti losing là chống giật á, chống bị nảy á, chống giật phim á.
Nó cái màng phim nó phồng á. Đấy.
Thì ở đây nó có cái gọi là infit you can show the green with the infit
The ratio infit per office.
Okay.
Tụi em ở OB đây có biết chỉnh cái áp suất giữa cái trục kéo số 2 không? Có ai biết không? Trên máy V12 á, V12, V13, V14 có biết chỉnh không? Nhưng mà khi tụi em chỉnh là tụi em khi nào tụi em thấy rằng là chỉnh đạt, khi nào thì là chưa đạt.
Khi nào màn phim nó ổn định.
Ok, cái đó là cái cảm nhận ha.
Thì đây mình cũng nói lại ha, cái cách của Maxime chỉ nó không phải là mình chỉnh cái là được liền đâu. Cái em thích cái dãy này là như 1.0 nè, hay là 1.03 hay là 1.05 gì đó. Cái này á, là ví dụ như 1.0 thì ví dụ như cái dãy là 1.0 thì hàng này quay một vòng, thì hàng này quay một vòng thì hàng này quay một vòng. Còn như là 0.9 á, thì hàng này quay một vòng, thằng này là quay 0.9 vòng. Ví dụ như 1.1 á, thì này quay một vòng thì này quay 1.1 vòng.
Ý là quay nhanh hay quay chậm á?
Quay nhanh hơn, nó sẽ quay nhanh hơn. Thì quay nhanh hơn thì nó sẽ làm cho cái phim căng ra. Tại vì phim mình nó giống như sợi thun nhá, mình kéo dài ra thì nó sẽ căng.
Tụi em cứ tưởng tượng bây giờ hai tay của em ghì một sợi dây thun, sau đó hai tay cùng kéo về hai bên thì nó làm cái lực giống nhau. Nhưng mà nếu như một tay kéo sớm, một tay kéo chậm thì dẫn tới là cái tay mà kéo sớm nó sẽ phải chịu cái lực nó lớn hơn, tỷ lệ lớn hơn.
Rồi cái quy trình mà set up cái infrared này là mới đầu vô mình sẽ chỉnh nó thấp thôi, chỉnh nó 0.97 hay gì đó, thì cái phim mình nó sẽ bị trùng lại. Tại vì cái ron này nó kéo nhiều hơn ron trước thì nó sẽ bị trùng phim lại. Còn các em tăng lên là 1 chấm rồi phải không? Rồi chỉnh lên 1.01. Thấy tới khi nào mà cái phim mình nó ổn định á là được, là ngưng. Chứ không phải là mình nhào gì mới vô, mình nhào vô mình chỉnh lên 1.1 rồi thấy nó ổn định. Như vậy nó bị quá, nó bị dư cái tension. Nó dư tension dẫn đến lệch bắt đầu. Rồi cái đáy túi á, cái đáy túi nó bị lệch đáy túi nữa. Mấy 12 là bị lệch đáy túi. Là do mình chỉnh dư tension quá. Còn làm sao mình biết dư hay là thiếu tension? Mình đâu có biết được đúng không? Maxime chỉ là mình chỉnh thấp từ thấp lên cao từ khi nào nó vừa đạt là được, ok. Là cái đó là đúng như đó.
Có nghĩa là thực sự á, là cái này người ta hướng dẫn cho tụi em biết cái tỷ lệ giữa cái trục cái tension của infit và outfit. Còn tiêu chuẩn á, như thế nào cho đúng là phụ thuộc vào cái tension của phim. Chứ nó không có một cái gì được gọi là cụ thể chính xác cả.
Mà mình phải chỉnh từ từ lên chứ không phải là mình chỉnh mình cứ chỉnh đại vô một số nào đó thấy là ổn định thì mình cứ nghĩ là ok, nhưng thật sự nó.
Và lưu ý luôn, hôm trước máy V12 là tụi em chỉ không được chỉnh tới là lệch đáy túi. Sau đó là không biết ca nào tắt luôn cái anti-bouncing luôn thì cái đó là không được nha.
Ok.
这样啊，我们说的这个数字，如果我设定为这个参数，如果我设定为2，如果这里是1，这里，如果它是2的话，它转它是1。如果我把那个参数设定成2，假设设定成2，它是1圈，比如说是1圈每分钟，它是多少？如果它设为2，如果它是1的话，它就是0.5。如果它设为2，意思是 ，so I mean if we set this number as 2, for example, it means the speed 1 ppm. If this ppm, this will 0.5 principle like this. 所以说，对，就这个意思。所以说，如果直径是一样，大家没太如果这个直径是一样的，那么它就是绷非常紧，对不对？它这以前它那边的，那么我设的比较接近，我设为1.01，哎，它比它的速度就快了1%，对不对？所以说中间这个张力微微的有一点点，哎，所以说那个数字是它比方它。这个原理是这样的。当然，现在是275的机器，有这套东西。如果是175的，可能就是说前面是要，但是呢，这边是我记得是有
个调气啊，
是有个齿轮吧，也有，但是靠 mechanical 传动过来的，有个 belt。For 175, the nickel between they have a belt. I don't have a belt. For 175 W machine, the nickel driven by the servo motor. This nickel by the pulley and the belt.
It's just a butt, yeah.
Just a belt. 所以说呢，275的有4伏马达驱动，可以比例可以调整。175呢就是靠皮带传动的，这个张力呢，所以说就是不如它控制的好，这是一方面。另外呢，这个地方还有一个摆滚，在这里摆一摆是吧？来进行缓冲。另外我们那边还有一个问题就是说。这是切刀，这是上牵引滚是吧？这是下牵引滚。我们这个底下还有个小压滚，对不对？比如说我们这边机器有没有我都没注意看。正常的情况下，就是说这个上牵引滚有个气缸的，正常应该比如说60。 正常生产的话，基本是压力是60 PSI，吃的是这个值。我们把这个气压如果设为0，没有，也就是我调下面这个小托轨调的压力是多少呢？就是说没有压力，0的时候，这都是空的，放一张纸片可以轻轻的拉动，也就刚好贴住。以前我们经常这个有2个螺丝往上猛顶是吧？猛顶，把这个东西都顶坏了，搞个槽出来，搞坏了。而这个调的方法是不对的。我们正常的话，就是说上面的气压没有，是底下塞个纸，微微的有一点，刚刚，也就是说刚刚好接触到，
有点摩擦力，
稍微感觉。如果插个纸片在里面，可以拉动就好了。以前我们调的都是太大，我知道，反正以前经常这个轨子搞开的话，就可以看到这有个槽了，磨得很深了，一个印子出来，有的时候变成这个样子，都得经常坏成这个样子。我们调力气不能调太大。
Đây em cháu nhiều chứ.
密封，这讲的就是说密封啊，其实就是说密封的话，基本上就是切刀封带的话，基本上是3个因素嘛，一个是温度，一个是温度，一个是压力，压力，然后温度，哎，对，非常正确。这3个因素特别是相关的，你调任何一个变化都会影响其他的。我们现在这个电脑上我记得是有一个调整的时间，电脑上有个调整时间，我们不怎么动这个，对吧？我记得是不怎么动这个。但是说你把温度调高了，或者说压力是加大了，那当然不调它也是可以，但是说可能就是上升，可能会有问题。正常情况下，基本上要按照标准的推荐的不同的厚度，然后凸轮不同的角度，然后或者说275比77的话，就设定不同的那个时间，设定不同的时间，按照那个标准去设。你要不然你温度太高或者太低，肯定也不行啊，或者说是压力太高了会上面就这种。
Cái nguyên lý hàng, là nguyên lý của cái đường hàng thì cái đường hàng mình được tạo nên bởi ba yếu tố, phải có 3 cái này mới hàng được. Tức là đầu tiên mình phải có nhiệt độ xong rồi tới thời gian hàng với áp lực hàng. Thì áp lực hàng thì bên bảo trì sẽ chỉnh, còn nhiệt độ thì các bạn có thể điều chỉnh từ 900 đến 999. Còn cái thời gian hàng thì như cái máy mới á, ví dụ như em set 1 mili giây thì là nó là 1 mili giây. Còn cái máy ví dụ như em chạy tốc độ 200 đi, em set 1 mili giây thì nó khi mà em tăng lên 250 thì nó cũng là 1 mili giây, phải không? 10 mili giây đi ha. Còn cái máy cũ á, cái máy cũ nó không giống vậy. Ví dụ như máy cũ là em chạy tốc độ 200, em cài cam 20 thì cái thời gian hàng của em á, là bao nhiêu? Có thể em lấy 60 nè, 60 giây á, là 1 phút á. 200 này là 200 túi 1 phút. Túi 1 phút, phải không? Thì em lấy 60 giây em chia cho 200 thì em sẽ ra là thời gian dành cho 1 túi. Tức là 600 chia 200 ra bao nhiêu? Và 0.333 giây ha. Tức là 333 mili giây trên 360 độ. Đúng không? Đúng không? Vậy 1 độ nó là khoảng như vậy 1 độ 20 độ nó là bao nhiêu? Nó có phải gần bằng 20 mili giây không? Đúng không? Ví dụ như bây giờ cam rồi 250. Thì các bạn thử chia ra mình được bao nhiêu? 60 chia 250 ra gần 0.25 24 là 240 trên 360 độ. Vậy một độ tương ứng với là tới 360 chia 240 thì ra là 1,5.
Đúng không?
Sai à?
机器转速是多少的时候对应的
Nó phải ít đi chứ ta,
时间
đúng không?
依附对应时间。
60 chia 20.
60 chia 20 là
电脑是
0.3 đấy.
毫秒，它的时间不懂，是吧？度转
Đúng rồi, thì này 240.
转360度，它对应的时间多少？
Tức là
速度在哪里吗？
cái là một 7 rồi. Cái tức là 1 độ là bao nhiêu anh Thành? Anh Nam 1 độ là nó lấy 240 chia 360 là bao nhiêu?
40 chia 360 0.67
0.67 nhân tiếp cho 20 là bao nhiêu?
13.3
13.3. Cái gì vậy? Đó. Cho nên cái máy cũ á, mà mình mà cái thời gian hạn mới quan trọng, còn cam không quan trọng. Tức là ví dụ như mình chạy tốc độ chậm mà mình ví dụ mình giảm cam thì giảm cam nó vẫn tốt, không sao hết, mình có thể giảm cam xuống. Ok, bạn hiểu không? Cái quan trọng là thời gian hàng là tính bằng mili giây mới là chính xác, còn tính bằng cam á nó chỉ tương đối thôi.
Nếu mà tính bằng cao thì giả sử chậm thì mức độ nào là tính bằng chậm?
Hả?
Tính bằng cao.
Cái đó nó
Hay là mình chỉ là nhìn vào
mình hiểu nguyên lý nó thôi,
ý là
chứ mình có thể chỉnh có thể chỉnh cam 0 độ chạy vẫn được, không sao hết. Quan trọng là mình chạy ra cái túi chất lượng tốt là được, mình hiểu nguyên lý đó mình chạy ra.
Mấy anh chỉnh setup độ cam hay chỉ có nhập là thôi.
Đúng rồi, có ví dụ như có thể em tăng nhiệt độ cao lên, em bù lại cho cái thời gian hàng em.
Nếu nói vậy mai mốt đáng lẽ cái kia cam 40 set up thành cam 20 đi.
Được, bình thường, cái đó không thành vấn đề.
Thì kiểm tra nhưng mà phải điều chỉnh đúng.
Không, đây là vấn đề là mọi người phải hiểu á, là cái 3 yếu tố ảnh hưởng tới cái thời gian hàng đó là thứ nhất là nhiệt độ, cái thứ hai á là
áp lực
giao, và cái thứ ba là thời gian hàng. Đó thì á, cái thời gian hàng là nó được quyết định bởi cái cam. Đó, cái cam nó sẽ lập vô, còn thứ nhất là cái nhiệt độ thì anh em OB tự chỉnh được, còn cái áp lực giao á, thì anh em OB chỉ chỉnh trong cái phạm vi cho phép của operator thôi. Vậy thì nếu như vì một cái sự cố gì đó mình chạy đúng cam nhưng mà cái tốc độ mình chạy quá thấp thì dẫn tới là cái lượng hàng nó bị răng cưa, vân vân, thì có nghĩa là cam đó sẽ không phù hợp. Nhưng mà không phải cam nó không phù hợp mà là do các thông số khác mình điều chỉnh không có lên được để chạy đúng. Ví dụ giả sử tụi em chạy 250 rất là ok, nhưng mà vì lý do gì đó túi em chạy không được, tụi em chạy có 200 và ví dụ như túi 200 mà cam 40 thì chắc chắn là cái đường hàng tụi em bị răng cưa rồi. Tại sao biết không? Tại tốc độ thấp quá thì cái thời gian tiếp xúc của cái đầu giao hàng với lại cái màng phim nó nhiều, đó thì nó răng cưa nó nhiều. Vậy thì trong tình huống đó những cái thông số khác mình chỉnh không được thì mình có thể điều chỉnh cam, ý là như vậy. Còn ở đây mình nói với An không phải có nghĩa là mình cam không có giá trị, mà cam vẫn có giá trị đối với máy cũ để mà ổn định cái thông số. Trong tất cả 3 yếu tố này là chuẩn, nhưng mà nếu như mà trong 3 yếu tố đó có yếu tố nào mình không có sửa được thì có thể dập cam cũng là một yếu tố, chứ mình không nói được rằng là giữ cam giống như bên Trung Quốc rồi là vẫn chạy vào thì cái đó không đúng.
Quan trọng là bạn hiểu cái nguyên lý và bạn áp dụng vô để mà chỉnh máy. Cái kết quả cuối cùng là cái đường hàng mình đạt, cái túi mình chạy ra được nhanh.
Nói chung là mai mốt mình vẫn áp dụng thay đổi cam theo cái vấn đề setup đó. Còn trong cái trường hợp mà đường hàng xấu gì đó hoặc mình chạy tốc độ thấp quá thì mình
có thể giảm cam
thôi.
bình
Chứ
thường.
còn vẫn là setup theo cái nguyên lý cũ.
nhiều khi mấy bạn cứng nhắc quá, nhiều khi
mình
nó không hay.
mình không có theo ở bên kia họ làm sao rồi mình kêu mình theo cái đó. Ví dụ hồi trước đây gặp một số tình huống là cái đường hàn yếu, chạy cam đúng mà đường hàn yếu và anh em cũng đổi cam lung tung mà để mà khắc phục sự cố đó, thì cái đó là mình linh động trong chất bổ sung tình nha, nó thẳng đó là chất bổ sung tình, còn bình thường là đúng cam. Vậy cho dễ.
Ok.
下去，你比如说我这个速度如果开到250 RPM， 如果开到250，一圈的时间1分钟等于60秒是吧？那么1分钟250是不是60秒钟除以250等于0.24秒，240毫秒，240毫秒。所以我们设定的是多少？设定这个停的时间40是吧？对。设定40毫秒上，基本上6/6的时间，是吧？差不多6/6的时间。大概有这个数量的概念。这个速度，一圈240毫秒，240毫秒0.24秒卡一圈，0.24秒一圈。你设的是40。所以说那个停的时间差不多1/6啊，它是属于这样算的。然后我们设的是毫秒，不是角度。那对应的角度呢，肯定就是360除以40啊，就是9度啊，不止9度做一个单词。停的时间9度。是的，40吗？
这时间有。
这是时间。
对呀。
回去再算一下。
1 mili bằng 1 giây bằng 1000 mili giây á.
Dạ, đúng rồi. Rồi tiếp theo là về cái giao hàng thì cái góc giao mình canh cái niveau á, thì khi mà đường hàng có vấn đề thì mình nên canh lại cái giao hàng nếu mà nó bị xéo góc như vậy á, thì cái chỗ này nè, cái chỗ này nó sẽ tập trung áp lực nhiều nè, chỗ này nó sẽ chảy, phim nó sẽ chảy mà nó cái đường hàng nó sẽ to, cái cạnh phim á nó sẽ bự, còn cái bên này á nó sẽ mỏng và đường hàng nó yếu, cho nên là mà đa phần mà các bạn thấy là xé mà được một bên nó yếu một bên mạnh á, thì nên chỉnh lại góc dao. Ok.
Cái đường hàn nó, một cái túi nó có 2 cái đường hàn, thì cái đường hàn mà ra trước được gọi là đường hàn đầu á, nó được gọi là lifting á, còn đường hàn sau được gọi là trailing á. Thì anh em lưu ý là nó yếu ở cạnh nào thì mình kiểm tra lại.
所以说我们那个特氟龙的密封滚，所以说这个切到下压的时候，你压力如果调的大了，势必就下得深，是吧？深的话，你当然一个是容易伤滚的，或者两边会粘东西，粘的话造成密封的不好。同时，这个刀正常是这样，如果这样，这边密封一般来说就压力小嘛，这边压力小，这边压力会大，因为这个橡胶滚是软的，是吧？如果正中间没有问题，如果调到这里了，这边压力就小，这边压力就大，所以说这边可能就是说风的话会弱一点，这边会差一点啊。同时，对这个滚子是个长的，很长，这么长的滚子，这个刀正好这种，如果是吧这边有问题，或者说这样下去了，那伤害更大。所以说一般来说，说这个切刀调整的话，一方面这个水平要调好，同时就是说这个角度切的这个压力深度要好，切刀的这个压力，刚才提到就是滚子提到边上60 psi。我们这个表也是 psi 的指数表。So the hot knife, the pressure is normally 50 psi.
For the seal lift,
it's about 2.5.
5 pounds.
Yeah, your pressure that maintenance adjusts. Do you have the same the gauge that you pull and gives you the pressure?
Yeah.
So that one is at 3.5 pounds on both sides.
Oh, yeah, no, forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But your error adjustment for the cylinder to lift it is about 60.
Yeah. 所以说就是两边切刀的这个压力，两边刀的这个压力，气缸调整这个数值，两边往下下的话，基本上正常是60，一般不会超过多少，太多的话会有问题，伤人的。然后同时那个寿命会减少，啊，并且这个角度一定要正，而且要用水平值 level 调水平，反正这个很关键啊，很重要。这个滚轮呢，刚才就是说我们那个密封滚啊，我们那个密封表面不是缠那个特殊绒吗？缠那个是吧？啊，但是我们这边缠的方法和就是说北美那边他们缠的方法是一样的。我这是密封滚，我侧方胶往上缠，啊，切刀这个能往上切。所以说，但是我这个切的时候，我这个密封滚是处理的不好。我们是多少？我们一般平时这个重合的地方是多少？重合非常少，
差不多2-3厘米。
有这么长，2-3厘米。
2层楼。
但是它这边
我们是2层的。
它这边的话是多原因的是吧？
斜贴也有种。
这边也是这样的。
他们斜贴。
就是说这个重叠的地方越少越好，尽量少，尽量少一点。
他这边也少。
尽量少。
它也重叠，好多重叠，这样好多重叠。
不是，它那个重叠的那个间隙小。
重叠的间隙小。
全都重叠。
也就是说缠那个滚子的时候，这个重叠这个地方，抛起来重叠的地方，一定要小，尽可能会小。
他们少。
So we try best to
The smallest.
the smaller the best.
Yes.
所以说要尽量小。比如说upper side person side normally 2 to 3 centimeter is too big, I think.
Yeah.
要尽量小，并不是说像我们那边重叠2-3个保密就是好，不一定，尽可能小，要不然压力影响比较大。
Thì cái chevron thì Maxime mới nãy có nói là cái ron mình không có được uống teflon ở trên cái ron. Cái mình quấn teflon rồi mình quấn ý đích thêm một lớp nữa đó, nó nói cái đó không tốt, tại vì cái chỗ này là nó sẽ nó cao lên, nó sẽ làm cho những cái chỗ này lực nó thấp xuống, nó yếu, chỗ này nó sẽ mạnh mà những chỗ khác yếu nó không tốt. Cái thứ hai là khi mà mình hàng bị jam á, bị kẹt phim á, thì nên kiểm tra blue gear, tại vì nếu mà nó giao hàng nó dập có một chỗ á, một hồi là nó làm hư cái đồn hàng.
Đốt cháy.
Mà cái đồn hàng thì mắc.
Quay chậm nó quay lại đúng cái vị trí đó. Đi đập nước có bị.
Nhưng mà ít ra nó cũng quay một vòng thì nó đã nguội cái ron rồi, cái đồn hàng rồi. Còn cái này nó cứ hàng một chỗ luôn, nó không quay hết là nó cháy luôn. Ok.
我们上午就提到了，就是说昆山那边基本上都是说，我们操作工自己去调那个切刀的压力，是吧？但是说这边要求交维修啊的这个压力大小的话，这个很有讲究啊。虽然说我们大家认为调的方法感觉比较好了，但是说还是遵从这个标准，特别强调一点，因为我们都是对，就是 our operator normally adjust the pressure ourselves. So for this position, I emphasize this for them. Call them it for this.
Another thing I didn't say this morning because it was all maintenance people, but it's important for the operator to have a good feel of their machine. So when it started making noise that it was not doing yesterday, that they call maintenance. You know, if a cam bearing is about to go bad before it damaged the whole cam, the whole assembly, they have to called maintenance. So they have to stay aware of, the machines.
Talk offline.
OK。
I'll let you know something.
所以说呢，就是一个是调压力要叫，另外你感到听到那个声音嗡嗡嗡声音噪音比较大的时候，多去叫维修就好。在这里面可能是费点时间，但是说遵守这个方法，就是这样。
It's best to set the knives up with the pins and the limit for the operator.
Yeah.
That way they can only adjust to a certain.
Yeah. Only half cycle at maximum.
So is that how you're set up in China now?
Outside normally for knife pressure operator they give many adjustments. So I emphasize this for them.
So you saw the pins and.
Yeah, the pin already limited the adjustment.
So you're better to go ahead and install the pins with the limit.
Yeah.
And that way, some of your new operators may not know and they'll overdo it. And we have this problem in all the other facilities, and I think you probably have the same problem in China. So I recommend that you do the same way, where you put the pins in, and you limit the operator's ability.
In fact, for this Ludovic send email, emphasize this for to me also. We will push more for this in China side.
And do the PMs properly.
所以说特别强调一点，不但是这边要求这样，而且以后我们回去他推我们这样。上次我们并且也开过会，我们和加拿大联系过，他们要求我们按照这个方法去做，我们并没有去严格的执行这个。
Cái này có thêm hai ý vừa rồi họ thảo luận đó, mấy tụi em OB nó lưu ý. Thứ nhất là trong tình huống mà mình thay đổi cái trục hàn á, là cũng phải kêu bảo trì set lại. Và cái thứ nhất là trong quá trình chạy mà mình nghe thấy những cái tiếng động lạ đó, ví dụ máy mà dao nó dọc xuống kêu bành đồ kia cũng là phải kêu bảo trì lại để xử lý sự cố, chứ mình không có chấp nhận qua sau nó bất thường vậy được.
这个就是说携带臂的时间了，收带的时间，收带的调整就是说，我们这个带子走过来的时候，停在这里，咔嚓这里一切，携带臂从底下把它拿走，这个时间当然早了或者晚了影响会很大，是吧？当然他有拍的那个视频啊，有拍的那个视频。 早了是怎么样的，晚了是怎么样，并且他拍成那个视频放映成慢动作，你去看早晚是一种什么样的情况。
Cái này các OB coi thấy là nó cánh tay lấy túi sớm hay trễ?
收带臂慢了是吧？
Lấy túi sớm hay trễ? Trễ quá đúng không? Dao hành nó dở lên rồi bắt đầu cái này mới lấy. Trễ sắp tới là cái túi nó cọ vô.
所以说慢了以后造成一个问题，就是说带的这个边碰到这个会粘到一起去，是有这个情况吗？来不及收。
Cọ vô dao hành luôn.
收的来不及啊，来不及收一方面，并且说容易造成带的表面是切断了，其实又粘到一起去了，还没收走嘛，是吧？这个。
Well, this one's a good one.
Good pickup.
This is good pickup.
Đấy, cái này là lấy vừa là không? Ra cái là lên.
Then same machine.
Same machine.
Bad blow down.
Cái này là gió không tốt á, thấy không? Túi nó phồng lên nè, nó không có ngay. Đấy, nó ra thấy không? Nó góc luôn.
看不到，不是太明显。
Sai góc.
So it's really important.
Top blow down angle is short on this.
这就是说那个吹气的时候，吹得太低了，而前面飘起来了，是吧？
Question here on the
气里面可以看到这里的，看到这里的。
Ken, get a question for Maxime. On the 175s, we have the tool to screw in to get the right angle. But on the 275s, we don't have a tool. So we're just eyeballing it.
No, they use the screwdriver. And they put an edge beside it.
Straight edge?
Yeah, they put a small straight edge. On the 275, when you check the angle on your blow downs, you put the screwdriver and then you put a
Straight edge.
ruler or something.
Something straight.
Something
So,
straight.
do we have that in our training program? 275s?
No.
So we need to add that.
这个
You can talk with
上面那个推进
them.
推到这个地方来。
Because right now, I think some of them are eyeballing it, trying to get
因
it.
为第三
And
个
I'm
推
seeing
到你看了
the
吗？
blow downs are hitting in the wrong place on the
它对我们
275.
来说是小儿科了。
So we need to add that to our.
他的意思是说是
它这边
按标准的，方案有标准。
它只有个针的，
Cái máy 7, cái 8, cái máy
它有个针的，它主要是要拿个针的。
nó rồ đó.
nhau xíu
Thành
它
ra
不
nó
是发出来的
thôi
针
đó.
吗？
For 275.
对战的倾向于追在那
以
里。
前也是
也能往外提
其实啥个毛病啊？
tùy theo là情况，有些你kéo nhiều标准，
Có một cái này không lấy tiền không có.
That one was 18 and a half inch back, 1 mil. Too much distance between the arms, you know, it was making the parachute and it was shooting the other bag, re-sticking.
Yeah.
Like I should have one.
So better to add 3 arms on this job. Or adjust the auto start delay.
Draw start delay up would be okay.
所以说收带臂收的晚了，你看上去好像没有切断，是不是？其实它是刀回去以后，它又粘到一起，哎，又粘清楚，哎，又粘清楚。哎，they know this better.
Yeah, good.
Cái này có lưu ý là anh em của mình ở nhà mình á, biết được là cái túi 18.5 mm rồi là trở lên dài túi á, là mình dùng 3 cánh tay. Tuy nhiên có cái lưu ý, nhiều khi á nó ngắn hơn một xíu nhưng mà là phim mỏng cũng nên sử dụng 3 cánh tay nha, chứ đừng cứng nhắc quá.
On that one, it's the draw start delay too low. Draw start delay at 2 on that one. You can see how quick the next bag goes out too quick, makes impact and sticking, not cutting. Well, they say not cutting, but sticking.
走过来以后没有拿走，这个又过来了，啪，又粘到一起去了，哎，又粘到一起。常见是吧？常见知道吧？ So operator familiar with the situation.
Yeah. And then draw start delay too high. You can see the bag clears before the other one goes out, but it tries to go out so quick that it, you know, flies out over the place. I have this here.
dính vào nhau.
太收带臂早是吧？
收带臂不早，
lấy chồng
慢。收带臂是晚的。
Cái này là đang cái cho sự khác biệt về cái thời gian roll start delay.
吹风啊，系带不好。
快系带好，但是成本高。
其实主要一个还是就是说，调到压力要不能自己调的。方面是不是？
关键的就是不会调，关键不会调。
他们不会调。
On that one, good fingers adjustment. So you can see here between your fingers the bag going out fairly straight.
这个呢就属于这个针挨个的这个针调的位置非常好，让人走过来非常平，走过来非常平。
冷却牌啊，没见到。
So you can see how it clears. The seal head goes up and the bag goes below it.
也就是说，系带臂刚好离开这个模钢出来，对不对？系带臂刚。当然，这是完美的情况呢，是一切都很顺利。
I'll zoom in on that really quick. Let's get your website.
Messed up fingers. Fingers a bit open too much. You see the bag going out uneven.
Hình trước đó là finger cày đúng, còn hình này là finger hơi bị cong một xíu á. Thì em sẽ thấy là
phải xem tối
xem tối
bẻ cái tối.
You can see the bag almost hitting the seal bar when it goes out like this and making contact with it. About that close from a jam up. Every bag we're just lucky enough to have a jam up. And look how the seal bar barely kissed the sealing roller. Almost no pressure, just kiss. You can see the seal bar on the sealing roller, it just barely touch it. That's all the pressure you need. You don't need to bang. You
Yeah,
know?
so it's slightly impossible. 所以说这个切刀在这个鬼子上的压力尽可能刚好接触把它切掉，而不是说下一个不行，轻轻的，小力比较好。
Kìa có cái đầu một nhiệt độ của người ta cái mình chơi ở độ đó mình chơi
cái nào tốt hơn thì mình kiếm những cái nào xấu hơn ok thấy mua cái máy 11 không bây giờ con kia là con này bạn chỉ show us real quick đấy mắt nó bây giờ
You get your email from?
Because the presently our operator the one
nguy hiểm
now the pressure the just need to move then the key limit. For the key limit need the limit to adjust the pressure. Normally outside the operator adjust it. So if we need to adjust the pressure move the adjusting. We feel with 10. If you assign a dealing, maybe with 10. So this is the problem. Friend for
Keep going when it comes in.
Yeah.
Put it on.
can talk to them now.
ông nói ông cần chỉnh dao á mà nhiều khi mình bận á mỗi chị bận á
Hiểu. Bên kia họ chỉnh luôn, họ mài luôn mà.
Selling good for both teams.
cái bít áo am này mọi người nắm hết chưa hiểu không
You good? Let's see.
I will talk a little the conveyor.
The conveyor. So. You want to go to the drawing? Yeah. Here.
Thì các bạn chỉnh cái pin á, đây là người ta yêu cầu là chỉnh cái khe hở là 1/8 inch, tức là khoảng 3 mm thôi. Mà khi mình chỉnh mình phải quay đủ hết 6 cánh tay và phải cách đều nhau thì là mới được, chứ không phải là mình cứ canh một cánh tay này thấy là 3 mm là được. Khi mà mình quay một cánh tay khác có thể là nó đụng vô luôn, và khi mà đụng vậy thì mình đập nó cho nó cong lại. Thì ngoài cái đó ra mình còn phải canh cho nó đều 6 cánh tay là 3 mm rồi. Mình phải làm dấu, phải index hết một cái băng tải luôn, đánh dấu lên đó là khi rồi mình mới chêm giấy. Thì ổng Maxime có khuyến cáo mình là nên dùng 2 cây lục giác là 1/8 với 5/16 ha, 1/8 với 3/16 là để khi mà mình cái 1/8 mình để vô á, là nó phải lỏng, mà 3/16 là nó hơi chặt một xíu. Mà nếu mà 2 cái cùng lỏng á, thì cái túi mình sẽ bị rớt. Còn khi mà nó cái lục giác nó 2 cái đều chặt á là nó sẽ đập vô trong cái cánh tay.
Như cho em hỏi, tên đây thì chỉnh là chuẩn đúng rồi, nhưng mà khi mà mình sang wicket thì nó lại bá vào cái cánh tay. Đó là bên nó bá một bị khác không, nhưng mà cái mấy hai là bị liên tục luôn.
Thì nó index hả?
Index á. Chỉnh là tên là chuẩn nha, khi mà nó quay qua cái bộ
biết không?
Cái đó thấy bớt rồi mà, đợt trước em có chim một cái miếng sắt ở dưới thì nó thấy nó đỡ rồi mà hết rồi. Với chỉnh cái miếng đồng ở hai bên nó lợn hết.
Cái máy bên 12 cũng bị đưa vô khoảng tầm 3 mm là dính thôi.
Maxime, I have the question. When they set the distance between the wicket pin and the arm incorrectly for the on-stick arm and also to check on the wicket pin on the conveyor, first when the machine index some the wicket arm it hits on the pin. So why it happen?
We could add that would be more for maintenance, maybe to look at the brass pieces on the end of the conveyor. Sometimes it gets bent a little bit and you have loose in it. So when you index, you have the pins on one side of the conveyor. So it's like if you shoot the pin out. So if you have a bit of loose into it, it will shoot it out like this. So you're gonna hit the hub, then go to your position, clamp it down, and then you're gonna be straight. But when you index, you hit. So maybe maintenance have to look at the loose in the conveyor, the brass pieces. I saw one or two that are broken, so they could maybe index wrong. Your conveyor could be at an angle instead of being straight. So a few issues like that, but I would say maybe get maintenance to look, investigate on it a little bit.
Anh nói là có thể là do cái băng tải nó bị lỏng ở chỗ nào đó, là nó bị lệch, nó không cân bằng. Thì trong những tình huống đó thì OB cứ kêu họ chỉ tới kiểm tra để điều chỉnh lại thôi. Okay.
The web guide on the back keeps everything in alignment with the conveyor, correct? There's a cable that runs
Yeah,
175.
what moves is the arms, rope table, and the conveyor is one stack that moves. So,
Follows.
Yeah, it follows the film.
The film coming from behind the drawer coming in.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen problems with that cable adjustment in Greensboro where it wasn't following properly. Oh, there was a kink in the cable or something caused the problem.
Yeah, could be that.
So can you talk a little bit about what you saw this week about the bag support arm and the broken pieces on the plate with this group? The plate was broken. Yeah, yep. Just a little bit. Yep. What we saw this last week and this week were the plates broken. Like we saw many of these plates cracked and broken, and much damage to the arms here, and a lot of plates broken.
No, I don't care about the plates.
No, but when the plates got damaged, are we saying that the bag support arm was getting too close, or something's hitting this to break these?
I can't recall that.
I saw it.
It was me or?
Yep. Do you know what's causing these breakage? Where these get cracked?
Ông hỏi là tụi em có biết là cái chân đế của cái quốc kịch pin nó bị bể là nguyên nhân do gì không?
Có động vô trong cái support
support bar đó.
Back support bar too close, right?
Nó tụi em cài đặt lắp cái đỡ túi đó, cây đỡ túi nó gần quá thì khi mà nó index và nó quay lên nó sẽ đụng vô cái chân đế đó. Tụi em coi mấy cái máy cũ của mình là chân đế nó bị bể hết á, là lý do đó.
He's gonna move on. He's got something already to show.
As we know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I ain't got nothing on that.
Oh, you don't? Okay. We'll show you later. Make a video later. You don't have something on that.
It did not show treatment to us.
Yep. ATN reviewed it with us, but we.
这个电容放电机上那个大。
Okay, go ahead.
You were done with the conveyor?
Finish.
Okay.
Are you finished with the conveyor?
I just mentioned about this, already mentioned.
And the difference between the old and new machine, you already did it, right? The dwell in milliseconds and the anti-bounce.
Already.
You can pass these out.
I think we got. You did too the difference between the 275 with the anti-bounce and the dwell in the milliseconds.
Yeah, so I give an example for calculate. If the speed like this, it means one circle how many times to.
I think we get everything. Everything's good. Done.
Cái tờ ông nếu ông mới phát là cái tờ quy đổi tương ứng với tốc độ chạy máy số túi trên một phút là quy ra là bao nhiêu mili trên một vòng á, đó là quy đổi. Cũng như từ cái bảng này mình có thể tính ra được ở trên máy cũ và máy mới. Ví dụ máy cũ đang chạy là 120, ví dụ vừa rồi anh An có nói tụi em á, thì nếu như mà chạy cái sản phẩm đó ở trên máy mới thì nó sẽ nhập thông số là cam bao nhiêu mili giây. Thì vừa rồi á anh An anh có tính cho tụi em biết chưa?
Không cần tính thì có cái bảng này rồi đâu cần tính nữa.
Đó, đây là ví dụ như mọi người nhìn tốc độ 250. RPM có nghĩa là vòng trên phút hay có nghĩa là bếp.
Tối trên phút, vòng trên phút cũng như nhau.
Thì là bếp per minute.
Thì tính ra là một độ nó là 0,667 đó, một độ là 0,667 đó. Đó, mình nhân 120 thì nó ra 13 mili đó. Thì cũng như mình tính thôi.
Có nghĩa là tụi em lấy cái
Nè, mình có thể
lấy
tính
cái
nè.
mili giây kìa, tốc độ kìa.
Nè, mình lấy 60, mình chia 250
Đó,
đó
đây,
ra.
nhìn trên bảng để hướng dẫn cho nó dễ. Ví dụ như tốc độ 250 nha, thì cái kia là 0.667 trên 1 độ. Và bây giờ mình sẽ nhân cho cam 20 là 20 độ. Mình sẽ nhân lên, như vậy mình sẽ nhập thông số nó sẽ là khoảng 13 đến 14 mili giây. Thì đó là cái thông số đầu tiên tụi em sẽ nhập. Sau đó thấy không được thì bắt đầu mình sẽ điều chỉnh mỗi lần 1-2 mili giây gì đấy cho nó phù hợp. Ví dụ như mình đang chạy ở trên máy 10, tốc độ 270 thì là ví dụ như là K40. Vậy thì nếu như mà qua bên máy 7, máy 8 thì mình sẽ nhập bao nhiêu? Thì đặc biệt là các cái OB mới như tụi Long này kia thì tụi em chưa kinh nghiệm á, thì tụi em lấy cái bảng này quy đổi ra.
Thì 0.61 nhân cho 40 20 gì đó.
Đấy, chạy cam bao nhiêu trên máy cũ thì mình lấy cái cam đó mình nhân. Long hiểu không? Ví dụ như Thomas là 1.25 đúng không? Mà trên máy 10 mình chạy giả sử 280 đi, thì em sẽ lấy cái giá trị ở bên cái dòng 280 đó là 0.595, em nhân cho 40. Rồi bây giờ mình nhân thử nha. 0.595 nhân cho 40 là 23.8. Đấy, hiện tại chạy bao nhiêu? Có nhớ không?
Ở dưới hả?
Thomas mà chạy máy 8
60
á.
除以这个等于这个，
这个对
这个除以360。
Two languages.
Không, bao nhiêu mili giây?
除以360。
25, ok, vậy perfect rồi, good. Đúng không? Quy đổi ra 24 và tụi em chạy 25, tốt rồi. Vậy là biết rồi ha.
Okay. We can do it in Chinese real quick.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I need so 60 divided by this get this. So divided by 360 get this. This is the TLC inner, I think.
Correct.
Maybe the include the resolution.
Ok. Về tụi em có cái gì chưa rõ không?
Maxime, thank you. An, thank you.
Thank you.
Ken, thank
Bye.
you.
Okay.
Jan, thank you for translating. Good job, guys. Thank you. Everybody sign in for the training document.
An chưa ký không?
Sure.